Oh wait, you can't. I'll get off the keyboard.
Hey! Stop editing my file. How rude.
That was all Bowie.
Yeah, I believe that. Blame the bird.
He's tap dancing on the keyboard while I'm trying to drink my tea.
Yeah, I know you have to prioritize tea. I get it. I'm gonna leave it. His contributions are valuable to this podcast. Welcome to Try Friend Heroes, Legend of Zelda podcast. I'm Ellen.
I'm Kayla.
No, I'm Kazum.
Introducing ourselves is funny. It's not because we were just laughing about something else 2 seconds ago. It's okay. It's a casual episode that doesn't have a plan. I mean,
It's all casual. I am lounging sideways in my chair.
well, good for you. My microphone is here, so I'm sitting up stiffly, not moving my neck like I do during work calls. We're talking about Tears of the Kingdom. First impressions of Tears of the Kingdom today. It's a special episode. Yay!
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going to come out. Depends on when I can edit it, but whatever. Listen. It's been about... It's casual. It's been about a week since the game came out, so we just thought we would get some initial impressions out to everybody. I hope everyone's enjoying the game. And then if you, for some reason, like, you're waiting for our review specifically before you bought the game or whatever, first we're going to talk about... we decided to talk about some non-spoiler things or like give a non-spoilery impression first, and then move on to discussion that may contain spoilers. So like, also if you're trying to not spoil yourself, be warned. I will say clearly. we'll say clearly when we transition to spoilery chat.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know how to start. Anyway, non-spoilery impressions. Are you all enjoying this game?
Yes.
So far?
Oh, that was directed to us.
You.
Yeah.
It's directed to you. Y'all, you too.
I was like, I
could
can't
be
respond, but yes.
No,
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Both of you. Both
Oh,
of you,
yeah.
Cosm and Cosm.
He's using the royal we.
Yeah. I don't know. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like non-spoiler discussion. It's good.
It's good. When I was talking to Cosm before we started recording, I was like, he had added some notes to our like things to talk about this non-spoilery, and I was like, that's good. I just thought we would just be like, it's good anyway, spoiler chat. Like, yeah, it's fun. I think it was worth. I don't know if it was worth waiting as long as we waited for it, but maybe not. It's not like worth wait. It's not about worth. It's like I wish we had it sooner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. Although seeing everything, I kind of am not surprised that it took as long
Pretty
as it did.
dope.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen some articles online that's like nobody knows how Nintendo made this or whatever. So there's a lot of some impressive mechanics and stuff going on in there.
There is like so much more. It's like, so if you played Breath of the Wild and you played Breath of the Wild and you enjoyed it and it's like fun and everything, this is like 3 times the amount of like kind of like mechanics and then like world size and like I don't know, maybe not maybe not total content. There's no way, because like it's the same cartridge and stuff. Like it has to have some kind of limit.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they did that, but at least to the player, it feels like substantially.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, but I mean, Breath of the Wild came out pretty early in the Switch. So
it's also a Wii U game, so it may have been.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Maybe it was.
It may not have used the extent of the Switch.
But I mean, even as maybe this is just how it worked with like the N64, and we're past that these days. But I think as a console becomes older, like you develop tricks and things to really cut down on the space usage.
As you say, Nintendo's just really good at using their own hardware and get better at it. So
yeah,
it is probably more. I mean, they've had 5 years to like to refactor it and like make the coding more efficient and stuff, especially if they were going back. Like it has obviously the same like base in some way, so they probably had time to go in and like make it more efficient, I would guess, while adding new features. So or like in as a like prerequisite to adding new features, they might have had to like go back and make it more efficient or whatever. So yeah, I don't know that much about game development, only web development. But regardless of whether or not it actually has like the same, I feel like the map like could be different. Even the map feels like it has a substantial amount more content, I guess I'll say.
Yes.
Without
it
anything.
feels
literally
more
anything
massive
about
than
it.
Breath of the Wild, which already felt massive. Like
like
I said, like you guys know, I did like a week and a half like speed run playthrough of Breath of the Wild before this came out, and like I've had this game for almost as long as that period of time, and I feel like it barely scratched the surface of this game.
Yeah.
While I like completed like all the main objectives and saw most of the map in Breath of the Wild. So
The difference between like we just played Skyward Sword. Well, we played Link Between Worlds, but we just played Skyward Sword before that, and like the difference between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild is like so massive. Like we haven't talked about it yet, and then I feel like this game is not the same like scale of change, but it is like feels substantially different. So
Yeah.
So, for example, you hadn't played Breath of the Wild. Like, also, I think if you hadn't played Breath of the Wild, you're not missing out. Like, there's a whole new plot. I think players who've played Breath of the Wild will get way more out of the game. Because of because basically it takes place after the events of Breath of the Wild. So if you kind of know that story, then you're in this different new story. Like, I still think you'll have like a lot of fun and like it's interesting, but you'll definitely get way more out of the game if you've played Breath of the Wild first.
Yes. And it takes place after Breath of the Wild, not like Wind Waker takes place after Ocarina of Time, but like
no, it takes like literally
as Majora's
right
Mask takes place after Ocarina of Time, or the same time as Ocarina of Time.
I mean, it's after. It's like directly after, right? So
it's directly after one of the timelines, but before the other timelines. Technically, right?
I forget because. Well, it's in the like hero saves the world timeline, right? Because it's like he saved the world and then went back as a child.
For Link, it's after.
Which one are we talking about again?
Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask.
Yeah, so for Link, it's
it's in the child timeline is what they call it, I think.
Yeah.
So then he went back to relive out his childhood.
He went back to relive out his childhood as a jaded child, and then
and then like immediately left.
Has another problem
because he couldn't take the fame or whatever.
Yeah, I know nobody knew him, so it was like the opposite, right? Because
well, I think he still stopped.
Yeah, because he went back in time
because he went and talked to Zelda, so I'm sure he was still considered a hero. This is our Ocarina of Time podcast again.
By the way, I saved the world, and Zelda's like, "Oh, good, that's what I asked you to do 5 minutes ago." Right? Anyway, yeah, this is our Ocarina of Time podcast.
Yeah. Anyway, I get the impression this is like 3 to 5 years ish.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
it's definitely some time passage. Some characters are visibly older than they were in Breath of the Wild.
But then like there's other clues that indicate that it's not that long after.
Other characters are not visibly older than they were, so it's not a huge passage of time.
Well, Link and Zelda are technically 100 years old, so
yeah, I think Zelda's a little taller than she was, but
Zelda's taller than Link, which makes me chuckle and makes me
I always like that Link is like consistently kind of short.
Yeah,
he's a hero. Let's see what else. Cosm, looking at your notes that you added.
Yes. So graphics and sound and music was the first thing I put in, just because. Without being too spoilery, there's a lot of the same songs.
But there's also like substantial. I think there's some changes.
There's some more like classic like Zelda themes in the vein of the old games now.
Yeah,
like, there was one I encountered where I was like, "Oh, this is a banger!" Like, so like we'll have to spoilers on that one though. But
yeah. And I also don't want to talk about it specifically, but like the newer elements of the game have newer themed music.
Yes, yeah.
So there is that too. So it's not a repeat of Breath of the Wild. I think that's like something that you could be worried about if you had played Breath of the Wild. It's like way beyond a repeat of Breath of the Wild, but there's also a lot of familiarities from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And like the graphics are the same style and stuff.
Yeah, same with the graphics. It's like the same style, but there's a lot of like the new elements have new visual stuff to them.
Yeah, they do, and I like
and
it.
Then there's a picture. Was it you, Ellen, that posted the picture? I mean, spoilery, I think, so I don't want to talk about it too much now. But
there was an activity that I did at sunset, and it was beautiful.
Yes,
what you're referring to, yeah,
perfect.
But I think Breath of the Wild had that too. Like, there are I have a lot of like screenshots on my Switch of just like that was pretty, but I think it is like amped up a little bit in this game.
Yeah, and like that's not a picture you could have taken in Breath of the Wild.
No. Because of the structure of the game, no. Because of the mechanic, yeah.
I think there's a lot more verticality to the world, and the visuals account for that.
Yes. It's a good non-spoiler way of describing it.
Yeah.
There's a lot more mist in this game. That's kind of specific, but not a spoiler. I feel like there's a lot more like things that are obfuscated by like fog or mist. It's kind of interesting.
Mhm.
That's like really super specific, but it makes
Yeah.
it more moody.
Mhm.
This game has more spooky elements than Breath of the Wild did.
Oh,
Nothing
yes.
in Breath of the Wild was I mean the Calamity Ganon's kind of scary looking. He's kind of
Yeah.
ominous from far away. But
And
this game
then-
has like real spooky things in it, which is nice too.
Well, I think the closest was the oh shit, like when there's several guardians, especially. But like, I think the
Yeah.
guardians were the biggest. Like, oh shit, that's something there. I need to like go.
Yeah, and that wasn't really like spooky so much as like danger. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like really
yeah, like
spikes
it triggers your
adrenaline.
it triggers your fight or flight reflex. But
Mhm.
yeah, I
But
think
this is
like
more
Breath
like
of the
it has
Wild
a
has more
scary-
of a I think Breath of the Wild has more of a bleak tone overall, but this
Definitely.
game so far has more moments where I'm like, don't like that, bye.
Mhm.
Or just like this is I don't feel good being in this place. Like
Yeah.
one
Mhm.
thing about Breath of the Wild, I mean, that's not to say that it like prevents you from exploring, but like it just has like, you know how like Majora's Mask had I'd say a much darker vibe than Ocarina of Time. I think there's a lot more like darkness in this iteration of this, and it's not like, I don't know, in this game compared to Breath of the Wild in a similar way that Majora's Mask does to Ocarina of Time.
Mhm.
There's just more like there's more horror aspect in certain parts of the game. So if that's something that you like, then that would be enjoyable, I'm sure.
Tying it back to like the Calamity, how like the Calamity was kind of scary, but it was really isolated to Hyrule Castle.
Yeah.
And even then,
It's not.
it was more like just that it was there. Whereas now there are places all over that has a similar effect, and
Yeah.
I feel like the effect of that calamity or whatever you want to call it,
The new apocalypse.
New Calamity. Yeah.
is more like noticeable in how you have to approach and play the game.
Yeah.
And then sound and music. Continuing off that, I found that like a lot of the things that I've noticed that are added, especially, I've really enjoyed. There are some times where you hear some old tunes in bits and pieces, or just altogether the song is there. Like the parts where you'll find Link humming some of the old songs and such like that. Really adds to it, I think. Just little bits that you're like, okay, well that is clearly more polish and more. I don't know, it gives more character to the game that I feel didn't have in Breath of the Wild, which is, I guess what you should expect from a sequel, maybe, right? Something
Yeah.
like that.
The things that were kept the same were refined further, which is nice.
Yeah.
So they didn't just leave everything the same. Like I can't think of one thing that's exactly the same. I mean, I guess without spoiling a lot, there's like cooking, but there's new ingredients, or there's like,
I mean, you can cut this out if you feel like it's too much, but like shrines are back.
Yeah.
And you still need 4 for either health or stamina, and I feel like that's the most like what's stayed the same game wise. Because everything else seems definitely more.
There's still a lot
additions and
different
stuff.
even to those.
Yeah.
It's mostly just aesthetics
Mhm.
on the.
Mhm.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
even say it's mostly just aesthetics, like on the basic level, but
Oh, the shrines are definitely different, but I guess you collect 4 to upgrade, which I guess is pretty standard in most Zeldas for the heart pieces.
Yeah,
anyway,
unless they want you to do
like,
5 or whatever, like Skyward Sword, those bastards.
right?
What about you have what is your complaint about controls? I see that
So-
you have thoughts, but I assume that means you have a complaint.
Yes.
Is this
and-
non-spoilery?
I have some that is slightly spoilery.
Okay.
But my biggest complaint turns out I think it was an issue with my controller and not the game itself. I think it was that my Pro controller, the stick, like if I would let go of it, it would go like backwards or something. So like I would be
my stick
lined
has
up
drift.
on your Pro controller too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I'd like line up and then Link would go back first and then like try and turn around. I'm like, no, I pressed up. Like, and sometimes like if you're facing the wrong way and just press up, he'll just turn around.
Huh.
But like,
If you have side note, if you have drift and if you have an issue with any of your controllers and you're in North America at least, you can just like go to Nintendo, submit a repair request, and like print out a shipping label and just ship it to them, and they'll just fix it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just shipped in 2 Joy-Cons that had different issues. One had battery bloat, and then the other one had a crack in the shell.
Oh wow.
So if you think there's an actual problem with your controller, you
Mhm.
can just go ship it in for free, and they fixed it in like 2 weeks. So there is that.
Yeah, I had the controller drift on 2 of my left Joy-Cons, and I sent both of those in and got them back with pretty prompt responses all along the way.
Oh, nice.
And I haven't had any problems with them since with either any of my Joy-Cons or my Pro controller. But yeah, I think that's the problem with your controller, Cosmo, that I have not encountered. anything like that.
One possibly important thing to know or like what would be nice to know before going in is like I think this game has a lot more, at least so far what I've observed, it has a lot more like spatial like kind of requires you to compute more spatially and like a lot of spatial puzzles because of because of the
some of the new mechanics.
Yeah, because of the new mechanics, a lot of it kind of requires a certain amount of spatial like processing, and so if that kind of thing is hard for you, it might be not the most fun game for you. Like there's plenty of other things, but like a lot of some involvement of some of the mechanics involves a lot of like spatial and like rotation and thinking like okay, I have to rotate this thing this way to fit it through this space or like connect it this way or whatever, and like that's a kind of puzzle that I enjoy, but it could be really challenging if that's something that's like hard for you to do. I could see that being hard, and like that's not something that is similar from Breath of the Wild to my knowledge, because you didn't.
I would say the
like
best
that.
would be those apparatus devices that you had to rotate. This is definitely
True.
not as complicated, but I think if you just really didn't like those, well,
you're not required to use motion controls for these. I feel like the difficulty
that's
of those
that's
is
true.
That's true.
Controls. To me, I'd say it is most reminiscent of the Korok puzzles where you have to like make 2 statues match, basically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this does a good job of like making it as easy as possible, because they do good use of like drop shadows and stuff on the like object you're holding to like it's very easy to tell like where it is in the world. You're not having to, like,
it's like not
it.
even a drop shadow. It's like kind of like a laser level where it like shows you where it projects out like the shape and stuff, which is really helpful
on like all 3 planes too.
On to the side and below you, so it's not just a shadow. It's like this kind of it's like if you ever used a tool like a laser level or something where it like points out, it has like a beam that shoots out from different levels, like that's helpful. So it does have that. What I'm referring to is a control that is most similar to the like Korok puzzles where you use the magnesis thing and like rotate it or whatever. Yeah, it's not like a motion control thing. It's like a iteration of magnesis, basically.
Yes. Yeah, and that was my other complaint about the controls, is that like it's not amazing, but it works, and like I'm sure that there is a way that it could be better, but not by a whole lot. And there's a lot to it that I think that they did to make, like, there's a lot of these little things, like you said, with the projections and such, that make it very much better. If they didn't have that, it would have been even worse. So I think they did overall a good job, but I don't know, every now and then it just... We'll talk about it maybe later, because there's one thing that I think I would like, that
maybe Keela knows if it gets fixed
or
not.
No, it's else. I guess basically you can only rotate it in 2 directions, either by flipping it, like rotating it forward or backwards, or rotating it.
Yeah, it's like you can rotate it 45 degrees right or left.
Or up and down. 45
degrees up and down.
But you can't
make
like,
it... if you want something to be diagonal, it's like you have to rotate it 45 degrees one way, and then 45 degrees again, and then 45 degrees
back.
I think you can hit both directions at the same time, though, to get a diagonal rotation, because I think I've done that by accident a couple times.
On the D-pad?
Yeah.
Or not... Yeah, it's because it's through the D-pad.
Yeah, like I've hit like up and left at the same time, and I've had it turn diagonally when I was trying to turn straight up and down. I'm pretty sure it's because I hit up and left or whatever at the same time by accident.
I just spam the directions until I get it to be where approximately where I want it to be, and then it's fine. Also, like the other, how can I describe this without spoiling it? The final output of when you're rotating, part of that aspect of the control compensates for your weird angles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I can elaborate that in non-spoilers if that's not clear to you,
Yeah.
to you all, but if you don't want to be spoiled, deal with my weird explanation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there. So like the whole, I think like there's multiple ways that the ability compensates for like non-perfect rotation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it is still challenging. I think that's probably one of the most challenging new mechanics.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one specifically. That
well, and then I think there's another one that just like remembering you have it, like using it itself is not that bad. It's just like it's. We'll talk about it later, but I love it.
Use less, at least in the early game. I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah,
but I think it really adds a different dimension that I'm just not used to in a video game, where it's just like, oh, I have this. That's right. This changes how I approach most video games because it's usually.
I know what you're talking about, but now I'm curious for later.
Yeah.
See.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on controls or anything like that?
Yeah, I think
No,
there's
it's
some
fun,
really
though.
good improvements on some of the stuff from Breath of the Wild, like especially in just
Yeah.
like basically like menu navigation.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. A lot of things.
Yeah, like a non-spoilery one would be like being able to drop things into the world without having to go into your menu, put it in your hands, go out of your menu, and then hit drop. Like you can just drop it from an easily accessible menu in the main world, which is nice.
Yeah. And then also, if you open a chest and don't have space for it, it will open up the menu and be like, "What do you want to drop?"
I think this is the single biggest enhancement from Breath of the
what
Wild.
Oh yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah, because it'd be really annoying to open the chest, realize you don't have enough room,
I
go
want
into your
that.
menu, drop something else, and then open the chest again. So-
do the whole animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, single biggest enhancement from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of little tiny, like just tiny tweaks that really improve the overall experience.
There's a few, because I also played Breath of the Wild before starting this. So there's like some things that are on different key to different buttons. One thing in particular that I keep messing up, and like I just keep pressing the wrong button. Like, nope, not this game. And then because I pressed the wrong button, I press a different wrong button, which had nothing to do with it in either game. Don't know why I do that, but I mean that's just I think the control scheme is much better because of what, like, they just had to make changes for it, and like it works and it's better.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can do about muscle memory.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was.
Yeah, I mean, you have that problem even going from like totally different games in between each other. Like when going from like a Zelda game to a Mario game and forgetting you don't automatically jump when you hit the end of a platform.
Yes.
Not that I've done that.
No, so what happened was our episode about Link Between Worlds hasn't come out yet, but we've already recorded it. So we started playing Breath of the Wild, which will come out next. And so even when we went from basically like from Skyward Sword to Breath of the Wild, I was like, and I played hundreds of hours of Breath of the Wild, so I was like, this will be fine. And then during the first scene, I was like, what's the buttons? Like, I don't even remember anymore, because that's how long it's been. Because like the whole time we've been recording this podcast, I haven't played Breath of the Wild. So you would think, but so even between them, I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you have the controls memorized from Breath of the Wild, like it's not going to matter, because you'll just memorize the Tears of the Kingdom ones pretty soon.
Yep.
It won't take too long. And like some of the things are like, some of the controls, because of the new mechanics, the controls are changed. So it'll be fine.
Trying to think if there's anything else.
Well, you have non-spoiler talk about the objectives. How do you feel about the number and quantity of main and side quests? Are the quests linear in this note?
Well, I also have general take on open worldiness, and I think the game is very open worldy. It's very vast, as we said. There's so much to. It's amazing. There's so much to explore. But I do feel that you are greatly benefited by starting the main objectives and getting at least a little far in those before getting yourself sidetracked and doing all these other things. Which, for better or for worse, like what I did, and I don't remember why I did this.
Wild though too, because like once you start doing the divine beasts, you get the abilities which help you explore more.
I'm not even talking about that. Like, but like even you're right. Like you still definitely generally want to go into Kakariko very early, to get
I think if you're
some
playing
of the
the game, you want
stuff.
to beeline it there.
Yeah,
basically.
and then even then from getting from there to the Akala Tech Lab.
Well, you do have Hateno, I think, first.
Is it Hateno? whichever one you're supposed to, in Breath of the
one-
Wild.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Call
Whichever
was
one-
the faraway one.
Whichever one you're supposed to go to first. Yeah, I feel like you want to go to one of those as well. And like
You're saying
then,
in Breath of the Wild.
and Breath of the
just to
Wild, and I
clarify.
think
Okay, yes.
Tears of the Kingdom is kind of similar. You want to go to the first
I
location,
think you want to do what they tell
and
you
then-
for a bit, basically.
yeah,
Mhm.
keep going for a few of them.
But you don't have to.
You don't
Yeah, I
have
think
to.
they both got the same kind of like they nudge you in a direction, but if you want to,
Yeah.
you can go in the total opposite direction and
Which I did, and I really regret
face
it.
God in your underpants.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Observing everyone, our friend group playing this game has been very interesting
mhm.
to me. Because like some people, like I went straight as soon as they were like, "You should go to this place." I was like, "Okay, well, this is what they told me to do," and so I did that, and I think it's been helpful. But yeah, some people were like, I'm in places, and I don't know how to get out," or like I'm like,
Mhm.
I found
like-
this person or whatever. Yeah, like
Mhm.
I don't know.
And then some people were like took a really long time just exploring the entire like beginning area before going
Or,
further.
like my husband, he every time he finds every time he how can I explain? Probably most people have seen the trailers and stuff, but every time he finds like things that he can interact with that don't have a specified interaction or use, he's like trying to construct them into things. So like that could take a lot of your time.
Mhm.
It's like if you really wanted it to. But I mean, I think that's like the beauty of this kind of
Oh,
game.
yeah.
It's the best thing about Breath of the Wild. Like it's the most, because I think also people's main complaint about Skyward Sword was like it's like hyper linear. Like the
Mhm.
world itself is very interesting, but like the story that you're made to follow is like you must go down to the surface and then back and whatever, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
This game is like exactly the opposite of that. Like they're like, you should do this thing, and it's like you could just go climb mountains for months if you wanted. Like
Yeah, I think Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are both kind of the perfect like blending of like linear and open world gameplay because I get bored in a lot of like really open world games because it's like the main objective is boring, but then I don't have any other guidance, so I can wander around for a bit, but then I'm like, okay, I'm bored. You're gonna find like something to do that's interesting, like no matter where you go in this world. It's not gonna be like, oh, I found a cool rock, but there's nothing to do with this cool rock. Like there's always like there's always gonna be something to do in the places you go.
I think that was kind of some people's complaint about Breath of the Wild. It's not a complaint that I had, but because I just liked being like, oh, look at this part of the world. It has this kind of like geography. Like, let's go climb the mountains and see what's there. Like, let's go see what's over in I haven't been in this part of the map. Let's go see what's over there. Like, I liked that a lot. But there were a lot of places that were just like, let's run through the snow for 10 minutes and there's like nothing but wolves or whatever. I don't think that I don't think Tears of the Kingdom has that issue.
Yeah, and I didn't even have that problem in Breath of the Wild because it's like you're always gonna find like at least a Korok or something. Like
Yeah,
You would
I
think,
mean, I
but
feel
I know
like
some people complained about.
yeah, I mean, I
heard
feel
them
like
complain.
there are a lot of places where you go to and there's nothing for you to do there on like a more of a smaller scale, but like you can't have a map that big with literally something around every corner, you know? It's just yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like Tears of the Kingdom so far, all the places that I've been have, I would say, more things per like square in-game kilometer than there were in Breath of the Wild. Like there could be more enemies, or there could be like puzzles or whatever. Like there could be shrine equivalents. There could be like, you know what I mean? Like I think, or there's like materials that you can manipulate in the world and stuff like that. Like I think there's more stuff. I notice there's especially more enemies, which I don't particularly like because I just want to run around and explore. But like I feel like everywhere I go, it's like, oh no, there's a platform. Oh, there's like a fucking Yiga person, or like there's you know, like I don't know, like and there's more like NPCs spread out for like side questing. I noticed as well. At least that's what it seems like, at least in the opening area. So that's my take, is I think there are more non-linear activities as well that you can do. So if that was something you didn't like about Breath of the Wild, I think Tears of the Kingdom has more.
Yeah, and I do feel like it's a little more like populated. There's more people and
NPCs
and just scattered about, so it doesn't feel quite as lonely as Breath of the Wild did. But you know, there's still its moments where it's kind of, you know, just big
quiet.
open world. Yeah. And which is good. I think it's probably where it should be.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's something special to the loneliness of Breath of the Wild, but it is kind of nice.
agree.
Like, oh, look at all these people now. Like,
Yeah.
like it feels like you've made a difference by completing Breath of the Wild. You know?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, because I think Breath of the Wild has a reasonable reason to be empty, which is that it's post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
It's post-war, basically, right? Like the whole story takes place in this time where, like, I remember yelling at you about this, Cosm, specifically. That it's like you're like, there's not a lot of people. It's like empty. It's like, would you want to travel in Breath of the Wild? There's like monsters everywhere. There's a fucking like dragon thing surrounding the castle. Like, no, that's not a time to travel.
Mhm.
yeah, it's
There's
like
just like lone people on the road for the most part, right? Like,
yeah, it's like it's post-apocalyptic. The symbol of that apocalypse is still looming over
There.
the entire kingdom,
Yeah.
and like as you start the game, it's like a bunch of stuff is happening that's keeping people in their villages anyway because of
Yeah.
when people are
divine
like,
beast
oh,
problems. So.
yeah, all these things popped up, which is definitely not your fault. But yeah, like or they're like, oh, I'm trapped in this tower, Sheikah Tower now, or whatever. And it's like, there's at least one
Yeah,
of
I
the
love the
one
people
of
that
the-
accidentally got lifted to the top of towers.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like, why were you hanging around this suspicious device? But you know, whatever. They didn't know. It's been 100 years, more than 100 years, right? Because they're all ancient. Anyway, the point is,
My favorite.
I think Breath of the Wild has
This is
a
off
reason.
topic, but my favorite is the Zora who's trying to psych
That's who I
himself
was
up to
thinking of.
dive off of the tower, and then like when he eventually does, he becomes like obsessed with diving off of high places.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
I didn't get him to dive off. I remember talking to him, and he was like, "No,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it." And I was like, "Okay,
Yeah,
I
you
don't
find
have
him,
time. I
like,
got to
just
go check
back-
the side on."
Yeah, you find him just back in Zora's domain, like after you complete the like Zora's domain stuff, and he
Oh,
has like
okay.
a little diving mini game because he's like obsessed with beautiful high dives now.
Mm.
That's
He's
really
like, "Let me
funny.
tell you about the beauty of diving and show me your best dive." It's really funny.
I think the episodes that are in Breath of the Wild are hilarious. This is something that I noticed when we were playing through it. It was like they have such like intricate lives. I actually
Yeah.
think one of the things that was added to the menu, which I don't think is very spoilery to say, so I'm just going to say it, is there's like a character section.
Mhm.
So it kind of keeps track of like main characters that you meet now, which is also like helpful and cool, I think.
Yeah, that made me excited because I like fucking love a little like
Blurbs.
what do you call it, like a codex in a game and stuff.
Yeah.
Look up stuff
Pokedex.
about all the people and places you met. So as soon as it was like new character profile, and
New
I was like, hell
character.
yes, character profiles.
Yeah. All my favorites. So there is that. Oh, I think I would say like a menu mechanic is not a spoiler thing to talk about, and I think could be enticing. So another non-spoilery, like non-game spoilery mechanic that was added to the menu that I think could be valuable for people to know exists is the dialogue log.
Oh yeah, that's
So-
Oh yes, that.
It's,
Okay.
it's literally called log. That's why I call it the dialogue log. But what happens is like, so you're going through dialogues with characters, and it's like dialogue box after dialogue box, and you're like, yeah, whatever, and you're clicking A really fast, and then there's something where like, yeah, wait, and then you forgot what they said. You can open this dialogue log, and you can see like every single dialogue box that you had with that person, like during that conversation with that character, and I think it's super convenient. I didn't at first. I was like, that's cool, and then I was like, wow, wait, I forgot so many things.
Mhm.
I want to see this
Yeah.
before I end this dialogue. So, also if you're kind of like reading, processing, or you forget things, or you're like prone to just like clicking through dialogue really fast, spamming through dialogue really fast, then like, I think that's like a new enhancement that's really helpful. So I enjoy
Yeah,
that.
it's something I've seen a lot in like more like visual novel type games. Like they do it in like the Ace Attorney
Mm-hmm.
series and stuff, which I've always appreciated. So yeah, I
We
always
need the
like seeing that
clues.
in the games.
Mhm.
Yeah. Gotta see what things are written in an important color.
Yeah.
I've also just enjoyed it for jokes. I feel like, wait, what did you just say? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know so many times because we have like I feel like I've mentioned this before, we have our own little chat where we like talk about the games that we're playing for this podcast, and we send each other like pictures and stuff. And so many times I'm like, wait, what did you say? That was hilarious, but it's like too late because I already moved past the dialogue. But now I can pull up the log if
Yeah.
I want to send funny pics to like Kayla and Cosm. So most important for me, obviously. How do you feel about the objectives? This is your last question. How do you feel about the number and quantity of objectives and side quests? Number and quality. Quantity and quality.
Great. So interesting. Well, so like I think there's several. The main objectives are split into several different main objectives, and I think there's a good number of them. The like, yeah, I feel like there's so much to do. I've been bouncing around, being like, I want to start this thing to do this, and then I want to do this thing to do this, but I also want to get this. So I have had a lot of things that I've been like ordering, like I'm gonna do part of this objective first, and then do this objective, but I have this objective that's on the way there, so I'm gonna do that first, and then the other thing that I was really aiming for. Then I do another objective, and then there's things to get distracted in that aren't a part of the objective, but just exploring. So like I think if you do like more objectives guiding you where to go, it's great. There's a lot to do, and they're like, there's something here for you that you can do, and then while you're at it, go ahead and go explore. Or and then like also, there's enough like shrines and landmarks and other things that you want to go to anyways to explore while you're exploring the map, like the not quite prime objectives but secondary objectives, whereas other things might be like tertiary objectives, but like there's enough of those that no matter where you're trying to go, if it's someplace new, there's always a beacon, like, okay, well, on my way here I see this that I want to go to, and then this I want to go to. If you're not into like exploring like combing through the entire land, but like just more general exploring. Does that make sense? Yep.
Yeah, I really like the number of like main-ish objectives in this game. Like Breath of the Wild pretty much had just like the main like 4 Divine Beast objectives, which were enough to get you going and exploring the world. But I like that like from the start, there's like, yeah, you can do the main objective, or you can go help this character out with their semi-main objective, or you can go over there and like even on another like mild menu spoiler, I guess, even on the menu they have it split into like there's like the main objectives, and then there's like
sub-objectives.
I can't remember what they call them, but it's like almost like secondary main objectives, and then like regular side objectives and stuff.
Yeah.
And then another thing that's not a spoiler, I don't think, is that like at every stable there's at least one side quest for you. And I feel like, are there more stables? Because I feel like I'm running into so many more stables, and I could be wrong.
I don't think
some of them have moved a little bit, but I don't know if they're...
Okay.
I haven't gone through the whole map yet, though.
Yeah.
I focused on one of the objectives first, so only part of like I haven't explored a lot of the world yet, so I'm not sure.
Okay, I just feel like I'm running into like I was just at a stable.
Yeah, but there's like a specific stable related semi-main quest, part of the main quest, I think, or like sort of. I can't remember if it's how it's classified.
Yeah, I feel like it's just
like, important.
Yeah, I feel like the stables are more emphasized rather than there being more of them. It's like
it's not just
it might be
your horses in this game. There's like, and I think in Breath of the Wild there were a lot of side quests you could pick up there, like if you talk to people. But I think there's more involvement for sure in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, a lot of them are just like one-off side quests. Like, I really like this bug. Can you show me this bug? And then show them the bug, and it's done.
I heard
there's a lot more ones where you like go to different, where it's like you go to different places and then like come back to the stable and go to another place and stuff.
Yeah.
There's also, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but there's like a couple of mini stables now.
Oh.
Which are just like places where you can just like kind of pick up or register a horse, which is nice for like if you want to get your horse out. It's like really far away from a normal stable.
Yeah. I think it's like they work that in for plot reasons, but it is more convenient to pick up a horse if you want to. But yeah, I think so far, I don't know, I feel like the main objectives, like the main objectives are like about the same amount as Breath of the Wild. Maybe there's a little bit more.
There's a little bit more from what I've gathered.
Yeah, because I think there's more we can't talk about without spoilers, I guess. But yeah, and then the amount of side quests I feel like is definitely increased.
Yes.
Like the amount you can just like, because there are more NPCs, you can get side quests like pretty much like every fucking place that you go.
Yeah, I think the amount
they're
and
like,
the
I'm part of the research team, and it's like,
it's like the amount and the significance, because a lot of them have like they're a little bit more involved or have a little bit more
plot
to do
relevant.
with, like some of the main quests, or at least like the world itself.
It's not like show me this mushroom. It's like, oh, explore these ruins, or like I want, or help me do this thing or whatever. So like
like I heard a rumor adjacent to this thing you're doing. Like,
yeah.
Why don't you help me explore that? It might help you. Like,
so they're a little more integrated to the plot, like not necessary, but tie into the main plot, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, there's still some silly little ones where It's like, I heard about this weird horse. Can you show me this weird horse? Like,
Yeah.
You're like, I guess.
you go, boy, can I show you that weird horse, buddy? Wait right there.
There's also some mysterious quest that I still haven't figured out. It's like you trigger something in the world, and then it's like, I still don't know what I'm supposed to do. It's like not really a quest, but it's a thing that you can trigger. I will elaborate, I guess, in spoilers, but I was like, so there's
I think
definitely
I know what
also
you're talking
like
about,
more
and I
hidden
kind of
quests,
figured
too.
that out, so I can tell you.
Okay, we can talk about it. Okay. This game, I feel like I've also definitely benefited from the amount of contact that our friend group has had about this game for the last couple of days. So if you have people
we're
that
like,
you know, like, yeah.
It's very much like reigniting the old like playground like chat.
Yeah, let's all sit around
Yeah.
and play Game Boys at the same
like,
time.
You're like, oh, I went over here and I saw this thing.
Yeah. Or like, or also like they're, you know, because we're not children now, we're more conscious of spoilers. So it's like, I think you all should go to like this place. There's something interesting. And then it's just like, period. You know?
Yeah. Or you'll be like, oh yeah, that thing
fun.
you were complaining about earlier, there's a solution over here.
This was answered.
Yeah.
Or like people were asking like questions about the opening sequence. And I was like, it is answered in dialogue. Just wait 10 minutes or whatever, you know, like you will see later. So stuff like that. Yeah, it's been fun. So I recommend everyone parallel play with your friends. That's what we've been doing. It's pretty great. Is there any other? Do you have any? All y'all have any other non-spoilery thoughts before we start talking about more spoiler territory? No holds barred spoiler territory.
Well, I will say that I actually did a good job of not spoiling a whole lot for myself. I saw the trailers, and I may not have seen all of them even. I don't know. There are some things that I feel like either I just didn't notice, or maybe they weren't in the trailers, but I feel like they, like, I don't know. But, like, so this may be the most I'm getting spoiled throughout the entire, like, since the game came out.
I mean, us talking now.
Yeah.
I watched all the trailers and the, like, official, like, little gameplay preview that they gave to some people. But once people were talking about the leaks hitting online, I was like, nope, shut it down.
I didn't. I also didn't look at the leaks.
I'm looking up more Tears of the Kingdom info.
It was like an official play demo that Nintendo released.
Yeah, and I also watched. They gave
probably, and I watched that.
Yeah, and they also let like some people play like an hour or two of the game in like certain areas, and so I watched some videos about that just to kind of see more of like the main mechanic stuff. But
even with all of that, I was still like, wow, and I was doing it myself.
Yeah.
It's like I knew there was going to be some of these mechanics and stuff, and it's still fun. Like it's still
Yeah,
it's definitely different watching it than actually playing the new mechanics yourself. So
even literally doing exactly the same things from the playthrough, because the playthrough is in like one of the first area, the one Nintendo demo one is in like one of the first areas, and it was still like, oh, this is fun. Oh, I thought it was interesting. And there's even things about even that first space that weren't revealed in that demo, so it's not like that was the only thing. Like there's a substantial amount of stuff.
Yeah, there were a couple moments in like the early area where I was like, oh, I recognize this from that gameplay demo, but this was not in here. Like
or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, even if you've seen the demos, it's not like that's all there is to the game. There's like a lot of content.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds like we're done talking about. Okay, so if you don't want to hear any spoilers that we haven't accidentally already spoiled, which I think we were pretty good. I don't. Whatever.
Yeah.
We're now going to transition and talk about spoilers. So thanks for listening. Breath of the Wild will be July 1st, and then Tears of the Kingdom will be August 1st. Yeah, that's the schedule. So if you want to hear our full deep dive on Tears of the Kingdom, it'll be, what did I just say?
August 1st.
August 1st. Yeah. So,
and I don't expect we're going to get super spoiler with this because I don't think any of us have gotten like into the end game or anything.
No.
So
no.
Yeah.
No, but I think but it's like, you know, people are talking about leaks. It's like, I don't want to know anything. I just want to see it for myself. Like we're going to talk about things that we have seen ourselves while playing the game. So like, if you don't want to,
just to let people gauge their level of spoilerness.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So it's a good game. If you haven't gotten it and you like Zelda, you should definitely get it.
If you don't like Zelda, go get it.
Well, if you don't like Zelda, why are you listening to this podcast? That's the question.
Well,
what
if people want to clip us and just, you know?
I was gonna say they just listen to it to see about how wrong we are.
Yeah, they're like, they said they liked it. I hated it. Well, screw you. So, or whatever. I don't know. It's a really good game. Like, I think in general, it's just a good video game. I was just thinking to myself, like, are all games that come out like this? Like, am I just like behind the times? Like, do I just not play enough games? And it's like, no, not all games that come out are like this. Like,
No, there's a lot of shitty games.
Oh yeah.
or just a lot of like small games, or like this games that don't have this kind of open world expansiveness that Breath of the Wild does.
Or
like
ones that
we
happen
play a
and
lot
do
of
it
good Switch
badly.
games. Yeah. It actually reminds me a lot of playing World of Warcraft back in the day, where it's like you can kind of like there's a quest, like you can pick up quests, but then it's like you can go wherever you want, and then it's kind of the area is kind of limited by like your skill level. So like it's kind of, you know what I like, there's like enemies that are harder, and it's like you shouldn't go into that area until you can fight that kind of enemy or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know, Breath of the World and Tears of the Kingdom are kind of like that, in that there's like guidance, but you can still do whatever you want. So I don't know. And then they're just pretty. Like they're just like the day-night cycle is really beautiful. All the graphics, especially in Tears of the Kingdom, are very interesting. There's some new like landscapes that are really interesting. Like it's definitely worth just like looking at spending it's worth spending your time looking at it on a screen, like you know, at minimum.
Yeah, it's a good world to be in, even if you're not particularly doing anything in it.
Like I really liked Firewatch, the game Firewatch, which is like kind of a visual storytelling situation, but you spend a lot of time running around this, like it takes place in a park, like a national park. And it's like that kind of experience. Like, do you just want to spend time running around like a beautifully crafted virtual world? If the answer is yes, then you should probably play Breath of the Wild because it's fun. Or Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. But yeah, anyway. Okay, you want to talk spoilers?
Yeah.
All right,
spoilers.
this is the hard cut to spoilers. Maybe I'll put some fun music or something. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't care. Anyway, we're going to talk spoilers now. This is the transition to spoilers. Listen, spoilers.
Yep.
One thing that I want to say when we're talking about the trailer, but I realized we couldn't say without spoilers, is like, even if you've seen the trailer, the opening sequence, I knew exactly what was going to happen in the opening sequence, but the opening sequence of the game is still really cool. Like, it's still really fun.
Yeah, like
that was like one of the most fun opening sequences in a game that I feel like I've ever played.
Yeah, for some reason I didn't expect it to be interactive. Like
I didn't either.
Yeah,
and it's like it opens where you're like, and it's like, oh wait, I have to move. Like I have to like hit the button and talk to Zelda. I was like, oh okay, cool. And then like you can run around her and you can like climb and you can like do all this shit.
Yeah, it gives you a taste of your power before you lose it all.
I know. Mike was like, why
you start with like
Kayla
full hearts and full stamina.
Right. So before Mike played, because I had already played the opening sequence, so he hadn't, and before he played, he was like, "Why is Kayla's stamina so high?" And I was like, "Oh, just."
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, look at that, but that won't last long."
No, yeah, exactly. I was like, "Whoa, full hearts," and I was like, "Well, I know what happens in this opening sequence. Like, it's not going to be like that for long." If I know a Zelda game, we're going to end up with 3 hearts at the end of this. But I thought it was fun to have an interactive opening sequence, even though I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Well, but even then, like, I think it was cooler than that, because like we saw a glimpse of what was going to happen, and like
we saw like the cutscene basically.
Yeah, and I think the interactive part really builds the tension, like the way the music keeps hyping up,
and
you keep going deeper and deeper and deeper.
Don't keep going down there, Zelda. No, and she's like, "Oh, let's keep going," and like you. Like she's so obsessed with
she's so excited about history.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's so charming and dangerous. It's like, this is what gets you into trouble. You know? Oh, the train's here. It's the wrong game then.
Yeah.
There's no train.
Is that it?
I guess you could make a train.
Yeah, you could.
I put together a bunch of mine carts, and I was like, "Are you making a train?" Like,
but yeah, I really like I think Zelda being a huge nerd was one of her more charming features in Breath of the Wild, and so it's cute to see her so just like openly able to, you know, express herself and be happy, and hang out with Link.
Everything about it. I ship it. We were talking about, because we've all done. Did we all get through the Mipha stuff in Breath of the Wild playthroughs? I know Mipha. Okay, yeah. So I was like, oh, Mipha, like they have their like ship or whatever. But I think like the Zelda Link like nerd and the jock situation is like it warms my heart.
Yeah.
And they're all
I do
like in the
it's one of
together. I was like, oh, it's so fun.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite from Breath of the Wild. It's one of my favorite like Link and Zelda relationships, and so it's fun to see them like together in a, you know, for a moment non-life threatening situation at the beginning of the game, just hanging out and doing stuff.
And all the memories in Breath of the Wild. This is not related to Tears of the Kingdom. We guess we'll talk about that later. But it's like, they have and it is nice at the beginning where they're like, this is like imagining the world of Hyrule without chaos. It's like Zelda's like exploring this place that she's always wanted to go to, and then Link is there to help her. It's all very charming.
Yeah.
But yeah, the music, you hear it just a little bit at the beginning, and it like builds and builds and builds, and the tension really builds. It's just like, don't go down there. Why are you doing this? So
the music is super eerie.
Yeah,
it is. I haven't yet heard it in other places. The visuals come back though, like that little smoky gloom.
Yeah, there's
visual comes back.
There's sort of a variation of it with the creepy hand enemies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I haven't seen one in the wild yet, only through the TikTok that our friends
really? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen one. Like I said, I went straight to the first Dorito Village quest. Because
I wanted a
Kuro
cave
was like,
somewhere.
go there.
I think it was kind of near Hestu in a cave that I found the first one.
I found Hestu in Lookout Landing, so I think he just eventually appeared there or something. Because I found him somewhere
he was
else.
by like Lindor's Brow, which you were talking about.
Oh, I was
the chat.
there. I didn't see him though.
Yeah.
I was like flying around because I was climbing a random place trying to get to the Rito Village, and I was like, "Is this Satori Mountain?" And then I rounded a bend, and it was, and then I dropped an apple in the thing. This is what I was alluding to. I dropped an apple. There's like a little thing where you can make an offering, and then the Lord of the Mountain appears, and then all these like columns of light shoot up. Oh, you haven't done this yet? Maybe,
no.
I don't know. I don't know if I should. Spoil
No, it's fine. Go for it.
Well, I
don't know what happens. I don't know what you're supposed to do.
I think he's just showing you where all the caves are.
Oh,
because everywhere I went was a cave entrance.
Or because every cave has one of those bubblegum guys.
Yeah, and they're blueberries in disguise.
Yeah.
What are they?
I mean, it makes sense. It's like Bubble Frog, but
yeah. But then it turns into a bloopy. So.
Yeah, they're obviously all connected. Like, those weird
so is it
guys,
the ones that still have the bubble frogs in it that lit up? So if you do it again,
everywhere I went was a cave entrance. So I think there's because some of them are kind of hard to find. So I think he's just showing where the caves are.
And then when you go there, the little column of light disappears. So I guess that's the point. I don't know. Okay, that totally makes sense. But yeah, anyway, I just like that it like you put it in an apple, and it's like then he shows up. I don't know if he just shows up on Satori Mountain though, like he used to. It was kind of
the one
this is how I must call you.
Yeah, I don't know if he shows up there naturally, but I found there's others.
Yeah,
other baskets that you can summon him because I never been to Satori Mountain, but I
because
summoned
I was
him.
climbing. Yeah, I was climbing somewhere, and I was like, I don't remember a cherry tree being in that place.
Yeah,
it's like on the
I think
volcano
they're under
somewhere.
Cherry trees.
Yeah. There's like a little patch of Satori Mountain, basically, is what happens. There's even like there was an Endura carrot there too. And I was like, oh, look at that. And then another offering spot, and then he shows you shit. Yeah, there was a person there who was like, they say a beast appears if you give him his favorite treat or whatever. And I was like, I know exactly what to do. I liked seeing him though.
Yeah, there's like a little like diagram at one of the stables that shows like where all the new cherry trees are.
Oh,
like someone had drawn up a map on the stable wall or something.
Oh, this is useful information.
Yeah. It's kind of nice because it's like it used to be. I think it was just the Great Deku Tree and the tree on Satori Mountain that had the cherry blossoms. And like now there's a bunch of them all over the world, so it's kind of like something nice that's spread at the same time as all the like bad stuff that's spread across the the kingdom.
The gloom.
Yes, the gloom.
I like there's more NPCs, but I do feel like they're still clustered in places.
Yeah, but I feel like they're still more spread out, and like there's more little small camps of them places. I feel like
I also like that most of them are like, oh, we're part of the blah 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 survey team, and I'm like, of course, fucking Zelda is like our highest priority right now is to go and survey things and like do historical research and look at ruins and it's like okay,
yeah, it does make
like
sense.
Everyone here is a nerd. I see.
I think it's cute how like a lot of them are like really enthusiastic about helping Zelda with stuff.
Yeah,
like a lot of
Zelda wants me to do this.
Yeah, and like I said it in our chat, I was like, oh, it's nice that people like know Link and care about him now. Like,
yeah.
I know, and Zelda.
Like, yeah, like when you get back to the central location at the beginning of the game for the first time, they're all like, "Oh God, you're alive! We were so worried."
Yeah.
Like, now where's Zelda?
Yeah.
disappeared, you say? Like to shreds, you say?
Yeah.
Like very.
Yeah.
It's
I
really
think it's
funny.
cute that everyone just like when they see you, they assume Zelda's fine because they like don't expect you,
Mhm.
like her to be far
Yeah.
behind you. Like,
Hmm.
like, oh, good, you're both okay. Wait, what now?
Traveling through time. I mean,
Yeah.
what? And then I like how they're also like, there's rumors of her just appearing and appearing all over the place. It's like, okay, so no one thinks this is suspicious. Like, oh, you go investigate it, Link, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
Link do this, Link do that. I guess it's kind of
I
his
mean, what
job
else is
to
he gonna
find
do?
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is sort of by definition his job. So
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah, what do you think about like the plot so far?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good.
Cosmo, did you do any? Did you go to any of the points that they told you to? Did you do any of
Yeah.
the main quests?
I finished
So you
the
did-
Rito.
You did a
Quest
dungeon,
line.
is what I'm
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
you. Okay, so now dungeons are back, which is exciting. I think.
Yes. So cool.
Yeah.
Are you happy you played every other Zelda game?
Well,
Did you miss dungeons and I guess open question to the floor, did you all miss dungeons in Breath of the Wild? Because I personally didn't care. I thought that the divine beasts were cool, but I can see how
yeah,
people
I
would
mean,
think they're repetitive, you know?
I think they to me they filled that same void as a dungeon. I'm glad that there's now more. I think there's supposed to be 6 of them. Maybe there's only 5. I don't know if.
Well, I think there's 7 stages, so I think.
Oh, is it 7
Oh,
stages?
sorry,
Okay.
I think there might be 5. I forget. No, because he gets
Yeah,
a thing
was
for
it-
all his fingers, so I think there's
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I guess it's only one more than 4. But
At least that's what I assume, because like the first one unlocks like the ring. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, he has all
Yeah,
these things.
at least
on his hand.
at least associated with the main people. There
hand.
might be like special like secret ones like
Well, I assume
Yeah.
Zelda's
But,
one, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've said this before. I was like, dungeons were never my favorite part of Zelda. I know a lot of people that's like their favorite part of them. So I didn't really like miss like the concept of dungeons because I do think the Divine Beast filled that role fine, and I liked the puzzles in the Divine Beasts, like controlling parts of them and stuff. But I do like I've always liked the aesthetics of dungeons, so I did enjoy that we've got more of the like dedicated themed like locations
That's
in
my
here rather than
expectation.
like the same
Mm-hmm.
theme for all of the Divine Beasts.
they were the same like aesthetically, and to a certain
Yeah, so I'd say
extent
mechanically I didn't miss dungeons in Breath of the Wild, but aesthetically I did a little bit. So it's
Yeah.
nice to have.
That's fair.
It's nice to have similar the like puzzly part is similar, which I enjoy.
Yeah,
But it's nice
Same.
to have the themed part be different.
And I feel like the way they implemented the Divine Beast made it so that you were like each of them felt like there's a mechanic and like it's different mechanically rather than like a dungeon where several times I guess no, most other dungeons still have like a theme and like some sort of overarching like
mechanics
Wait.
and themes, but I think like what's missing is like definitely themes, like in terms of visuals and music and
Yes,
stuff.
for
Like the
sure.
Divine Beasts are not distinct.
Mhm.
And then I think the mechanics, like they're different in every Divine Beast, but they're pretty much the same, where it involves like rotating or doing something physical to the Divine Beast itself,
That's
which is very
true.
interesting. But they're all technically the same. Like one is like
Yeah, I
rotating
guess that's
the
true.
bird,
Mhm.
one
One
is
is
like
lifting
moving
the
the
trunk.
water. Yeah, one is
Yeah.
I forget what you do with the camel one.
The camel rotates
It's got
the
rotating
like
the
belts.
body rotates.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one.
The chameleon. Do you just move
The-
its legs or something or?
I think you just rotate the body. I don't know. I didn't do that one. Well,
Yeah, he
Kayla,
goes
you did
from,
it
like-
recently.
Yeah, he goes from like tilted one way to like tilted sideways, I think, because he's
Yeah.
like walking around on the mountain.
So like they are. I mean, basically, it's like you're like, okay, to solve this puzzle, I either have to use my tools or rotate the Divine Beast.
That's true,
So it's like
that's true.
still
Mhm.
kind of the same. Like it doesn't. To me, I enjoyed them because again, it's kind of like spatial puzzles and stuff. Like, and I thought
Mhm.
that the puzzles in the shrines kind of makes up for what might be lacking in differences between
Mhm.
the Divine Beasts, in my opinion. So I think all of
Yeah.
them combined kind of equals the temples from other
Yes.
Mhm.
Zelda games. But I am excited about I've only done the Wind Temple in Tears of the Kingdom.
Mhm.
So I am excited about my impression is the other ones are going to be different. you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
more
the
distinct.
Wind Temple is highly themed to the Rito.
To win.
So,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
I doubt the
In
other
a
ones will be
fucking
that
cloud.
similar. Yeah,
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
bird ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like the
Um,
cool thing is you get their like avatars after. So
Mhm.
you get that you still get like a power after, which is nice. I thought
Yeah.
we were just gonna have like the main like Sheikah things and that would be not Sheikah, whatever, the Zonai powers or whatever, and that would be it. But yeah, it's kind of cool that you get their little avatars, and it seems like the mechanic for using them is different. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't know what they all are yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only unlocked the Rito.
Same.
Yeah.
And it has to be like triggered.
Mhm.
But like all the other,
Yeah, it's
like,
very useful for navigation, though.
Oh yeah.
it-
Oh yeah. It's a
I
great
don't
one to
really
get.
sell anymore, so it is like much.
Yeah,
There's-
at first I was thinking like, oh, I miss Rivali's Gale, but there's a lot of ways to get vertical in this game. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is. Yeah.
There's even like basically a Rivali scale equivalent where you can like create a fire and throw a pinecone in. So
Yeah.
Oh
if
yeah.
you-
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of times during that the climb up to the dungeons. So if you're like stuck and you need height, you can also do that. This is my pro tip.
Yeah,
when you
so you
want
can
to suck it.
you can sort of do a makeshift Rivali's Gale, and then the Ascend power lets you get to the top
Yup.
of a lot of things, and then like the
Yeah.
towers shoot you super high in the air. So like
So high.
there's a lot of ways to gain height. So having
Yup.
the power be horizontal instead works out really well, I think.
Yeah.
And then that lets you compensate for not having a volley scale because you can go farther without just dropping, like in
Yes.
height if you jump off of something or whatever. So
Mhm.
like it still works. Also, you can create like a glider, like you can craft a glider,
Mhm.
and put like fan or rocket on it, so you can go really
Yeah.
far with those, like really really far.
That's not affected by Tulin's thing, is it?
No, I don't think so. I think it's only your paraglider,
Okay.
but I
Okay.
haven't tried it actually.
Yeah, I mean, just like I thought that's where you were going with that. I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You could you should just make a glider and try it.
yeah,
I
sure.
don't know. But like you can.
I wonder
just
if
use
it
a
would,
fan.
because it's like,
It shouldn't
yeah,
it?
I mean, he creates a
Right?
gale right behind you, whether you're on the ground or in the air. So
Yeah.
I mean, if
I
you're
would assume
standing
it would
on
blow
a
the-
glider, I assume it
You're
would give you
standing on
some
the glider.
boost. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Something to try.
Neat.
It's everyone's homework, I guess.
yeah.
And the glider doesn't last forever, which is hilarious. The first time where Mike was like, "Ah," I was like, "Yeah, I know it does that."
Oh.
Yeah, I do enjoy watching all of my like unused Zonai bits like fall to the ground after using them, which is really funny. I'm like, I'm gonna get hit with a falling sky island.
Yeah.
I just love it. Oh yeah, I like the new memories.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm so
I
glad
haven't
I-
gotten to them.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad there's a memory mechanic, because that was one of my favorite things to seek
Mhm.
out in Breath of the Wild. So
It was such a compelling story and way that it's revealed in Breath of the Wild
Mhm.
that I was
Mhm.
hoping they would have something similar, and I think it definitely is filling that need.
yeah,
Nice.
Well, the second one that I saw wasn't as dramatic as the second one that you saw, Kayla. But it is interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe that even no, yeah, it was one. I saw another one. I found another like marking on the ground. I
Mhm.
found another one. I was thinking of there's also like a scene at the end of the dungeon, at the end of the temple.
Yeah.
That's another memory.
Oh, another
also.
improvement on Breath of the Wild. You can just access those memories and replay them in order from the menu.
Right?
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Like there's just a section on your menu dedicated to memories instead of.
Like yes, the menu is so
Mm-hmm.
much better. Like a lot of things about it didn't change, but there was just like a couple of things that were
Yeah.
like make it much
I'm
much better.
so glad the ingredients go up and down rather than you have to scroll through the pages.
Mhm.
Forever.
Yeah,
Oh
being
my
able
God.
and being able to navigate through the pages with the LNR instead of having to
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like just
tap through
use
the
the
control
stick
stick. Yeah.
over and over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just like hope the stick went fast enough when you were trying to go from part to part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is nice. Yeah, and then all the Zonai stuff is cool. I think the new visuals and the new shrine music and the new shrine.
The
like,
new shrine music is really cool. I like the
I love
I
it.
like the green.
love the
I
green. I love the glowing.
Yeah, I
everything
like
about it.
I like the insides too. Like
The Zen sort of like garden inside
Yeah.
where it's like
yeah.
it's like pattern gravel texture and stuff. Like it's
Mhm.
very interesting.
Yeah.
I enjoy it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the music.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
never skip the end anymore.
Yep.
of
Yeah.
the shrine.
Yeah. My one complaint is I am not a big fan of the Magitech aesthetic for Zelda specifically.
Hmm.
Which
We
like
can't be friends. I mean, what?
huh?
No, I'm
Oh,
kidding. We can't be
yeah.
friends
Like
anymore.
I've been thinking back on it, and I feel like Zelda has been progressively getting more like that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the first instance you really see is kind of the Tower of the Gods in Wind Waker.
Hmm.
That thing kind of fits the bill a bit,
Yeah.
and then
I think it's the beginning of that aesthetic for sure.
yeah, and then you've got some Twilight Princess. You've got definitely like it leans in more to it. There's something I thought about in Skyward Sword that made me think that, but I don't remember what it is anymore. And then with the Guardians,
Also have that aesthetic, though,
right?
in Skyward Sword.
Yeah, somewhere I can't remember where, but like I don't know. I don't know. I guess maybe
I feel
because
like
of
they've always
Ocarina of
kind of
Time.
had
Or...
like ancient technology, like ancient highly advanced technology kind of vibe with like
Yeah,
going back to like I mean even when like just going into the dungeons and like back to like Link to the Past with them being all
that's true.
kind of funky on the inside.
Yeah.
The aesthetic of this specific iteration kind of like draws it together. I think like in Breath of the Wild, I think compared at least to Tears of the Kingdom, at first I didn't really think about it until playing Tears of the Kingdom, but I think like the shrine aesthetic and the Sheikah aesthetics and stuff, they're somewhat tied together, but I think they're a little bit more disjointed. There's a lot of things that I think are interesting about the Tears of the Kingdom shrine and like kind of whatever ancient tech aesthetics.
Yeah, they
Like
seem a bit more like naturalistic. Like
yeah, it reminds me of a lot of like this like that like Zen garden style, and then even like these sort of like the glyphs and stuff that are inscribed look like it reminds me of like old Chinese script and stuff. I think they're all kind of like tied together in an aesthetic package, which is nice.
Now I remember Lanayru, the little mining people. In Skyward Sword. It's them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I don't mind most of the Zonai aesthetics. All the devices kind of, but it's mostly the constructs. I feel like just seem very out of place
you
for
don't
me.
like them?
Yeah, like again, they're just their design. I don't know.
I do think like
yeah, I think they look a lot like the Zonai ruins, like Aztec-y animal kind of design to them. Like
and
you
I
know,
think, like,
when you explore the Zonai ruins in the first game, they've all got those like kind of like boxy dragon looking things.
Yeah, they brought the
like
snake
that.
dragon things back. I think the thing that is a little bit weird about them is like I associate like mechanical things, like robot-y things with like the guardians from Breath of the Wild. And I think one thing that's kind of weird about them in this game is like some constructs are like they're all doing their job, but some are basically enemies and some are allies, and it's like hard to tell which one's which, and like it feels a bit weird. It's not obvious unless you see their like glowing red lights and stuff. So I don't know. It's a little bit
obvious.
Weird. I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't think I've had too much trouble with it generally.
I guess outside of the Sky Islands, they're almost always enemies. Sometimes there's a random one that's like, "Oh, hi, I fell down and I'm here to help you."
Yeah, I think those guys look so different from the soldier ones that I haven't had any problem.
Well, they also don't attack you, so
yeah. It's like even from the distance, I'm like, "Oh, it's one of the friendly guys." I'm gonna go over
like,
and say hi.
Look at them mining over there. I think they're cute.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with them. I think they're cute.
Yeah, when the first one popped up in like the cutscene, I was like, I love him already.
Oh. And then he's like, "Oh, the one that's like food joke." That one's really funny too. It's like, I see. You're a friendly robot. You're making friendly robot jokes. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like ambivalent to them. They're fine. I like all the other aesthetic of the Zonai stuff.
Yes, I do too. Like the
hand gates, blue green glow.
Yeah. Inside the shrines, we talked about the music of it. Even the goat-like appearance of Rory.
Yeah,
at
I think
least,
they're
and
cool.
then yeah, I think it's all really cool.
Yeah, they're like dragony rabbit
llama
people. Like,
but But then they have people legs. Mike was like, his legs are so short, and I was like, what? And then the next time there's a cutscene of Rauru, I was like, oh my god, his legs are short.
Yeah, no, so I was like, oh, he's got wee little legs.
Yeah.
I noticed that with
Yeah,
his
I
like
don't know.
little ghosty form, like floating around.
I liked that Jane, or like my sister was like, is this Rauru like the first king of Hyrule? And I was like, why don't you just wait for the dialogue? Like, it's like, wasn't it the king of Hyrule's name? Just like, hey, just wait. It'll be revealed, I'm sure. Yeah. I liked him.
Yeah, where they're like King Rauru. I was like, that's the name of a sage. And
Yeah, exactly. I was like, wasn't that the name of a sage? And then it's revealed later.
Yeah.
And then, I mean,
so it's like sort of or at least so far, it seems like it's kind of another retelling of the like events of the like Ocarina of Time and like the past, like what they refer to in A Link to the Past, the whole imprisoning war thing.
yeah, the main first conflict between Ganon and Hyrule, which is like somebody wanted to come and take a great power, and so they did, and then they led with all their army of monsters, and then he was sealed away or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, I think down to the fact that there's like sages that are reawakening and stuff.
Yeah.
Although not being imprisoned in the spirit realm, which is also always nice to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I like when they get to live their lives.
I like how that like hasn't happened since like Ocarina of Time. It's like all the other sages like just get to go back.
Maybe
it's
they
like,
were
good,
just like,
thank you.
this is awkward. Yeah, I've enjoyed all the like plot related elements and like the cutscene, all the memory cutscene type things and stuff so far. So I've enjoyed that. I think the plot is good. I think the plot is also like, I was a little annoyed with the chase for Zelda and Skyward Sword.
Oh yeah,
it's always like, oh, you're just one temple behind her, and it's like, but she's just like in a whole other plane right now.
Yeah.
Like it's like completely different. With like, oh, you got to find Zelda, but it's like you see her, but like she's not really there. Like I think it's pretty obvious that she is. Like I think she is. I don't know. She's
She's
it's
everywhere.
Everywhere. She's everywhere. Yeah. But it's not the same as literally in Skyward Sword. I was like, oh, she's, like we're going to get to the first dungeon and she's not actually going to be there or whatever. That's what I thought was going to happen. And it's like, no, she's actually just like one step ahead of you. And it's like, God damn it. Like, why do I gotta keep chasing after you? And it's like, it all gets worked out and everything. But yeah, it was kind of, I felt like that plot device was a little bit annoying in Skyward Sword. And this, I think, is like a better version where it's like, yeah, we're still trying to find her, but it's like, it is, you're not going to be able to. Like, it's not real, like, you have to do all these other things to be able to see her again in the flesh, I guess. And then seeing like the first memory of her and stuff, it makes that all make a lot more sense. So I think it's better. When you're between times, it's like a greater task and not just about like kind of annoying being like one step behind,
Yeah, and I think the memories help keep her like present in the plot, like while you're doing stuff, without it just being like, oh, Zelda's gone. Oh well, I'll do all this other stuff and then eventually save her at the end. Like,
I remember seeing Great Breath of the Wild comic that was like, Link, I've been holding back Ganon for 100 years. You have to come save me. And then it's like cooking a little, roasting an apple or like fighting a thing, and it's like Link, like running around.
Yeah,
it's like Link. I'm like. You have this like in Breath of the Wild, you have this like task that's like you got to save Zelda, and she's like holding back the ultimate evil. But you're like, let me just go climb this mountain. Like it does feel a little bit disjointed. In this game, where it's like, I think through the cutscenes, it sort of demonstrates that she's doing her own thing that's helping. So that's nice.
And I mean, even then, your main mission is to find her, and so like, well, she was in this area. I mean, if I explore this area, is she gonna be here somewhere? Like she was close by. So at least
it's like you're not like on a like a supposed time schedule that doesn't really matter. Like
she's
like doing things and like and like the whole thing we were talking about that we were talking about earlier with all the like a lot of the side quests feeling connected somewhat to the main quest. Like it feels more like you're actively doing stuff to try and find her rather than just fucking around.
Yeah.
Even if you are,
it's definitely how it feels in Breath of the Wild. Yeah. But you're like, oh, but I have to look at these ruins. Zelda wanted me to do that. Like, Zelda set up this survey team. Yeah. I do like that. How do you feel about the powers? This was my next one.
I feel like they are less. They are more underwhelming, but I think in a good way. Like I feel like with stasis, you could use it on anything.
That was pretty dope. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool. But like with the rewind, it's a little bit more specific. But what you can do with it is kind of cool. Same thing with like the mage hand or whatever it's called. Like you can't pick up as much. You don't have as much.
It's Ultra Hand,
I feel like you
which
don't.
is a reference to
Ultra
Nintendo's old toy.
I like calling it Master Hand, Magic Hand,
Oh,
literally
yeah.
anything but Ultra Hand.
Yeah. Like you can do some really cool things putting things together, and it's like magnesis, but
Yeah.
like in some ways, are just like, oh, but I don't have magnesis anymore. I can't use it the same way for certain things. And
Is there really anything you could do with magnesis that you can't do with Ultra Hand? I haven't really encountered
I
that.
haven't either. That's why I was.
No, you
I
might
was
be
also
right.
gonna-
Yeah, basically everything you
might
could.
be,
Yeah.
it might be the rotation that I'm thinking of. Is like I was more used to that.
But you can
That's
rotate
something-
even more in more degrees.
That's true. That's
Yeah, I
true.
had a lot more
It's
trouble
just-
trying to like get things in the right direction with
it's-
magnesis.
Because with magnesis, you could go back, forward, up, and down, and then like you could walk around.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
if you
Like,
grabbed
you
it from the
couldn't
wrong
turn it.
angle, you just had to drop it and pick it up from the right
Pick it up
angle.
again.
Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Mhm.
And you
You're
can
right.
reach things from far away and pick them up. You can
Yeah.
pull. I pulled a
Mhm.
chest out of the
pull
ground.
things out of water
with
and
it.
out of the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it does all the same
Um,
things. I do think like the powers are more like generic in a way. Like some of the powers, like bombs, you could use anytime basically, and like stasis, you're right, you could use anytime. But like ice, it's like okay, you have to be near water. You can walk on it, you can climb on it. It has like kind of a specific use. Magnesis, the things have to be metal.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other? There's bombs,
There's
two bombs,
bombs.
magnesis, and stasis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then like I mean, you can go through anything that is close enough to you and go up through and ascend through it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's really cool. And I feel like
Yeah.
I guess it's more. I don't know. I felt like I
Haven't-
could use magnesis in a lot more. And just in general, like I guess maybe in combat more often, because like you had bombs you could use anytime. You could freeze enemies with the upgraded stasis. I feel
Yeah,
like generally
was a
like
good upgrade,
magnesis was something that you can do to like, and I guess you could still drop things on things.
Yeah, you could drop even more
Mhm.
things
Yeah.
probably because you can pick
Yeah.
up like
But like
things
with
that are metal.
Ascension, that's its purpose is to get you up, which is really cool. And actually, I did fight an enemy where I had to use that, and that was really awesome.
Yeah, they have it in a few special enemies, and you can also use
Yeah.
it to get behind enemies if they're above you.
Mm,
Like I used that in a shrine recently.
Yeah,
That's
Where
fun.
I just
It's
I
like
waited
when you-
until it went past me and then hopped up, and then I got a sneak attack on him. So
It's like when you turn into the Link painting on the
Yeah.
shield.
Mm,
in,
yeah.
Link Between Worlds. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I haven't experienced that yet
Yeah.
in this game. That's fun.
yeah, Recall has a lot of fun stuff to do. I feel like I've only scratched the surface of what I can do with
That's
Recall.
true.
Like, you can, like you
I
can
haven't
make your own
used it that much.
elevators and stuff by like
Mhm.
lifting something up and letting it drop, and then using Recall on it. And
Yeah.
That's so smart.
Right. Yeah. Actually, there is a lot of things with it that
I definitely
I'm
feel like
just
I haven't
now
used
discovering.
it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do miss
so,
having
like-
unlimited bombs, but
yes,
I think the fact that
yeah.
they let you like break bombable rocks with heavy weapons kind of makes up for
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
I did like
Um,
using
Also, that's-
stasis on enemies once you upgraded it, though.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to not having that.
Mhm.
But maybe we'll get something else. I don't know. Maybe like one of the.
Maybe you can rewind them instead.
I was just wondering
Yeah.
if you did that. That's what I thought you were going to say when you were talking about rewind. I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Maybe you didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't think
pretty
I've
sure I
used it on
looked,
enemies, but I
yeah.
don't think I've tried.
I don't think you
Maybe
can,
rewind.
but
Mhm.
there might be an upgrade to it. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe you can get like a sage power that
Maybe.
has something similar. Like
Yeah,
we
I think
only have
I-
one. So.
Yeah, I think I read some spoiler that implies it's at least some of the sage powers are more combat focused. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I could see that.
Mhm.
Definitely, the first one is not. It's just a glide, which is
Yeah.
is very useful for
Although-
exploring, but, you know.
His avatar does shoot arrows for you.
yeah,
Which is
he's
very
pretty
nice.
good
Actually-
too. Like
Yeah.
Oh, he's so good. Sometimes
yeah, I
I'm
wasn't
just,
sure
like,
if he was going to be
waiting for
any
him
use
shoot.
at all, but yeah, it's like There's
No,
several
he
times
just,
I've
like,
like
hangs
I've been
out.
lining up an arrow and he just like pings him right in the head. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
And also sometimes I don't even notice. I don't notice there's an enemy, and then I hear the music, and then he
Yeah.
already shoots the bow. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, that's convenient. You're just like my bodyguard. Like, I'll
Yeah.
just keep you
Yeah.
out all the time then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That is convenient.
Mhm.
Yeah, he is really good. He's a good
Yeah.
shot. Sometimes when you have like a companion, which we've talked about before, they're like
Mhm.
useless. He's
Yeah,
a really good companion.
I agree. I feel that way too, from what I've seen, and like not overly strong because there is a decent
Yeah,
delay
you don't
between
want
his
him
shooting his arrows,
God
but like
mode.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's always that's like, oh damn, nice shot,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right when I needed you.
Yeah, he's
Um,
definitely
Thanks for
saved
doing
me
that
several
for me.
times. And
Yeah.
I'm
It's
like,
the new
nice
Lisa's
shot,
grace.
bro. Thanks.
Mhm.
Like, oh, thanks. I definitely didn't even see where that enemy was yet
Yeah.
because they just like popped up behind me or whatever. So, and then some of those, I thought I was really worried about those like flying enemies for a while, and then I realized they have like one like arrow kills them. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes they'll like aggro onto me, and then he'll just start shooting them. I was like, oh, that's convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
What is
Oh.
this Tulin? I was like, what is his
Tulin.
name? Yeah.
yeah.
You have Tulin's Vow or whatever it's called. I can't
Yeah.
remember. It's the
He's
power.
also the
Oh,
cutest
one thing
fucking
that
thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's cute.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you're too young to be a sage, but there's always children's sages. I don't know why.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
there would.
One thing that I'm hoping for, because I saw that you could like turn them off, or maybe you have to activate.
Yeah,
Because
you
I don't think you'll have all 5 of them with you, and maybe they don't all follow you. It's just his. But
Technically,
like,
you had all the other powers because a lot of them
Right.
are passive. Like
Yeah.
Urbosa's, well, like Miva's Grace is passive until you die.
yeah,
Urbosa's Fury is passive until you aim.
yeah.
And then like
Rivali's
what's the other-
Gale, you had to jump and hold the button.
Yeah, you have to jump and hold.
The other one you
and
had
then
just
the other one is
was your
you
shield.
just be you just target them or R
Yeah.
target or whatever. I'll target them.
Yeah,
Whatever the fuck it is now.
yeah.
You
So,
target them, and then when they attack you, it like
Yeah, it was like if you had your shield up, you automatically had
yeah,
Daruk's protection.
Daruk's protection. I was trying to remember
Yeah.
what it's called. Yeah, Daruk's protection. So yeah, maybe they'll be more passive. I do think this one's kind of active. Like you have to he'll shoot arrows for you, but then you have like if you jump, you have to press A or whatever to get him to do the gust for you. So it's kind of a combination of Urbosa's Fury and Raleigh's Gale, I guess.
Yeah, it's nice that he's like you can like immediately activate it when you're in the sky. Like you don't have to like wait for him to catch up to you or anything. You can.
No. It takes time to recharge, but yeah, you can immediately activate it when you jump off something, which is nice.
What I was at least gonna say, I don't care what you were saying, whatever. I had something I was gonna say. Because you know how they have the D-pad that you can change things. I was kind of thinking that if they are active and you can only have one of them with you at a time, it would be a missed opportunity to not use the down D-pad. You hold it to be able to switch between them. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen when we get a second one and how that's going to work. But because I think it would be a pain if
the
you
down
have
is your
to
whistle,
have one.
I think.
Yeah, but
It
if you hold it instead of just tap it, maybe because that's your companion too, your horse, along with the other ones. It would thematically fit if you needed it too. But yeah, because if you do have to pause and like have one active at a time.
I bet they're just going to be passive because I'm think
hoping
with the champions you could also turn them off. I just never did, but you can unequip them.
That's true. That's true.
So
let's hope.
Yeah,
there'd probably be some kind of quick way to change.
I guess I think Rito is kind of the Ritos are the first ones that they're trying to sort of guide you to do first. So I guess it would make sense if he's the only one that actually does like his avatars with you like that to fight. But it also would be kind of fun to be able to switch
have an
between.
entourage.
Yeah, or like I think it'd be kind of cool. You pick which one you want to be by your side, and you can switch it from time to time.
Yeah,
but
I feel like it's going to be that, but I feel like they'll probably have some kind of quick switch thing. I mean,
yeah.
Well, we just got to do another dungeon and find out.
Yeah.
And by dungeon, I mean temple. I use those terms interchangeably, but yes, another temple.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I got to right outside Zora's domain before we stopped to record this, so I was gonna do that area,
I wanted to go in the depths That was what I did last, which is what I asked about yesterday. I was like, I need guidance. How do you get into the depths? Tell me, friends. They did.
Yeah.
They came through for me because friendship is the best
Find
thing
a
ever.
hole and you jump in.
Yep.
I thought there was going to be a hole in the place that I was because there were like kind of like lines of gloom goo in the ground, and then there didn't seem to be an obvious entrance there. So maybe there is one around where I was, but I was like, I'll just warp back to the lookout landing. But yeah, the gloom is cool. I like that. Or the depths. The depths is cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Cool, I mean, horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't like horror games, but it is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so
you can
dark.
still sneak a lot. It's really dark.
Yeah,
I used like 30 bright bloom bulbs.
Yeah, I really like that mechanic.
Me
Being
too.
able to like shoot those across the map and like light up areas
And
and
it has
stuff.
like a shrine-esque mechanic where like it has like warp areas and you like go and light them up and then it lights up the map and stuff.
Yeah,
Which is
and they're
cool.
all underneath the shrines up above, which is cool.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I noticed after I activated a few, I was like, "Is this right under the shrine?" And I like tapped the map.
They're
up.
like,
I was like, "Yeah, it is."
They're roots.
Oh my
They're
god,
roots.
that's crazy!
Roots.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
it
so
makes sense.
cool.
And their names are the shrine name backwards.
Oh, really? That's funny. I knew that. I was like, oh, these are like roots. That makes sense. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think the additions to the map are like, every part of it is great. Like I knew they were going to use, I was like, how are they going to use the old Hyrule map? Like, is that going to be cool? Is it going to be like really similar? I don't know. It's like totally different. Everything is like, it's nice that the main landmarks are there, but like so many parts of it are like, oh, there was a shrine here and now there's not. Or like, oh, like the fairy fountain's in a different place. Or like,
did Kakariko Village just move?
I don't know. I haven't been there yet.
No, but it's like got some weird stuff going on with it, so it looks
okay. Because I think like you don't land from the Great Plateau; you land a little bit further, so it seems like it's a different direction, but maybe like relative it is, or absolutely it is, but relative to your starting location, it's moved.
Yeah, I was
because
looking around. I was like, oh, this is where the Great Plateau is, like because I unlocked it on the map. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gone up there yet, but I want to.
I haven't been up. I haven't been on it, but I saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, like,
yeah. So I was like, is it the Great? I was like, is that the Great Plateau? And then I was like, oh yeah,
it is. Yeah, you can go in Hyrule Castle without getting immediately attacked by a bunch of guardians, which is really nice. So it's like actually cool. Like, there's part of the main beginning quest where you have to like go talk to the guy who's leading the search party. And it's like, oh, I can actually like climb up here without getting attacked by a Lionel and shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was
the
like, this
castle
is
itself
nice,
cool.
just strolling around Hyrule Field.
Oh, look at that.
To the Castletown ruins and getting immediately sniped by guardians. Because in Breath of the Wild, I always wanted to be able to explore that area because I'm like, this looks so cool, like the ruins of Castletown, but there's like 5 guardians around there.
Yeah, no, it's too many. Yeah, there's like a little memorial inside for the Calamity and stuff, which I thought was sad and cute.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can get into the actual castle part, like, too.
You can, yeah.
Really early,
you can just once you get the
can
glider, you can glide in through what like the ramparts that are on the sides. There's like a part where you can. Yeah, I didn't do it. My coworker was like, "Did you go to the castle yet?" I was like, "Oh yeah, to the ramparts." It's like, "No, you can glide." Apparently, there's a way to glide into the sanctuary where you fought Ganon.
Oh,
and that's safe now apparently, and you can like start exploring the castle by like gliding into there, and that'll be your starting spot.
Yeah, I got some quest that was like, oh yeah, something's hidden in the throne room, and I was like, oh, you must be able to get in there.
The throne room.
Fairly early because it's like the quest I got was fairly early, and it seemed like an early game quest. Like so,
you get double items when you go in the throne room. It's a Dominion joke.
I got it.
Just in case.
I missed it.
You got throne room. The throne room.
Yeah, throne room. You have to always be throne rooming. APT. The Sky Islands are also cool. I really enjoyed the aesthetic of the first Sky Island. One of the aesthetics of the areas that I really enjoyed in Breath of the Wild was all like Akala, where it's like perpetually fall. but there's also a lot of
Mhm.
enemies there, so it's kind of like not very rewarding to run around there. There's like a
Mm.
lot of Lizzles and wolves and guardians up there. And so this was kind of like a Call of Light where you're like in the first Sky Island, it's like kind of like autumn, it feels like, you know.
Mhm.
I thought it was a nice aesthetic.
Yeah, I like how like a lot of the chunks of the Sky Island that have fallen down have like the trees and stuff
Yeah.
like from above ground, and like they got different
Yeah.
plants growing up there.
Yeah, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was like stem bulb. I know what that's going to be for. Pick
Yeah.
all of this. Pick everything, but pick all the peppers.
Yeah, there's some quality puns in this game too. Like
Yeah.
I think my favorite is the fucking living tree enemies that are called Evermeans.
Mm-hmm.
One of those attacked me and I was talking to y'all and I don't think anybody else had countered them yet, and I was like, oh my god, this like ent is attacking me. They're like, what is it? What's happening? And I was like, I don't know I don't know how to explain.
Yeah. The first one.
There were trees that would react to like stasis in the last game, so I feel like that was something they like programmed and then removed or didn't finish. I don't know if that just happened to me, but if you're walking around playing Breath of the Wild, there's some trees that if you have stasis on, like glow, and you shouldn't be able to stasis them, and nothing happens. So it's like I wonder. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense now. Now there's an enemy.
Oh
in the trees.
yeah.
So maybe that's why. I don't know. That's just my personal guess. But yeah, next time when you're playing, because you haven't finished. Have you finished Breath of the Wild, Cosm? For this playthrough that we're supposed to do? Neither have I. Well, next time you're running around in Breath of the Wild, which you better do. I'm looking at you. I mean, I guess I don't care. I've already beaten it once, but whatever. But I want to see it again. But yeah, if you're running around in Breath of the Wild, turn on your stasis. There's like trees that glow for some reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe there were going to be enemies. But anyway, now there's tree enemies.
Yeah.
They're just horrifying because I thought trees were safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of new enemies, the
there's so many.
Bokoblin bosses,
Ugh.
I love them. They're so goofy. It's perfect.
They're
I just
goofy,
like-
but I just want more enemies. There's so many
Yeah.
more than there used to be.
That's true.
I like how they like walk
I really
around
do
with
think
like a
it's
bunch
fun.
of bokoblins behind them, like ducklings.
Like little chickens.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, my first introduction to them was the Blood Moon. They showed
Oh,
up,
no.
and
Oh, yeah.
then they're part of the
They're in the
cutscene.
cutscene, yeah.
I think
Yeah, they are.
Like I
There's
didn't
one
think.
in Hyrule Field, like really close to where you land and close to like
Mhm.
Lookout Landing and stuff. So
Yeah.
Well,
First one I found was in a like there's like a little like enemy base camp around one of the towers.
Mhm,
And the boss bokoblin is like running the camp, I guess.
mhm.
And
When I
mostly
landed,
hit him with the muddle buds and let them fight each other.
Oh, nice. I haven't used
That's
one of
fun.
those yet.
I've seen so many enemies fight each other though. That's also hilarious. There was like the constructs, like the warrior constructs or whatever they're called, soldier constructs.
Yeah, the constructs get into scraps with all the
They
other enemies.
fight with
Yeah.
other enemies, which is hilarious. And they just I
Even-
saw a bunch of enemies and then the soldier constructs are attacking them and I was like, oh good, you're all doing my job for me. I'll just be sneaking over
Yeah.
here then, like climbing away. It was really
Yeah.
funny.
Well, so when I first landed, I went the wrong way, and I was seeing a lot of like blue and black enemies in general.
They were wrong way. Like I heard
Well,
Shane
like
also said this.
because
The
like
wrong
I
way if you don't want to
landed,
die.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
it was-
the wrong
it
way
was
if you
like-
wanna die.
it was like they were the lookout
You went
landing
a
was one
dangerous
direction.
way.
Yeah, I went the
Oh,
other
you
way.
went
'cause-
away. You went like
I went-
south or something. You didn't
Yeah,
go
like
north?
southwest.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, I see.
and then I found this camp of constructs that one shot me. They were terrifying.
No,
But literally next to it was a camp with moblins and bokoblins.
This is what
and
I'm
like,
saying. There's so many enemies.
So
Anyway.
I had just aggroed both of them and ran, and they were fighting each other. But there was
Nice.
too many, and they would also come at me, and so I died too many
No.
times. And I was like, I'm good. No, well,
Just
okay,
warp back to the sky and jump down and get restarted.
yeah. And then so that was also my first blood moon.
Oh
But
no.
somehow
How did this
the
happen?
enemies that I was fighting did not seem to respawn that very blood moon. It seemed like because it would be I die, I come before the blood moon, I fight some, the blood moon comes, and I I want to say that the ones I was fighting did not spawn back, but maybe because I was too far from the main camp, they were just back there and not coming with us. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think they just spawn where they originally spawned, because I've definitely
That might have been what happened.
Like where I beat almost everything, and then Blood Moon came, and they all spawned back, and I was like,
oh, okay.
So
Yeah, I thought that was a new change. That maybe like things that you defeated like within 24 hours of the Blood Moon don't spawn back. I feel like that would make some sense. And
They probably just chased you away from their spawn, and they spawned back in the location after the Blood Moon. You're just far enough away. Because they also, I think enemies chase you farther in this game than they do in Breath of the Wild.
Could be.
Like, they will hunt you for a long time, I noticed. Like, even if you try to... Usually in Breath of the Wild, you can just run away from something if it sees you. Yeah. And in this game, I feel like they will chase you for a substantial amount of time.
Sounds about right.
Leave me alone. I just want to ride my horsey or whatever.
I got my big horse back, and that makes me happy.
That's good.
Oh, yeah. Another new enemy that I really like is the Battle Talus. Yeah. Have you guys seen that? Oh,
yeah, I ran past one very quickly.
I think there was one in a trailer. Is it a Talus that has like a bunch of like moblins on top and stuff? Yeah, there was one.
It's like a mobile monster.
It scares me. I don't like that.
So, like, I was trying to figure out what to do with it. Because, like, you know, you'd normally knock off its arms.
Through it.
You have to ascend through it.
Oh, really?
Oh my, yeah, that's how you get to its thing. And
yeah, then you can fight the monsters on top, and then you can fight it. I guess.
And then another thing that I was talking about earlier, in the non-spoilery section about the powers that A, you forget that you have it, and then B, it just changes how you approach games, is ascend. It's just so easy to go up, because like most of the time, if I'm on a middle floor and I have a chance to go up and then work my way down, or go down, work my way up, it's best you're already up, you go further up and then work down, because getting up is just always harder. It's always easier to get down. Now it's not. When you remember, it just makes it so much easier, and you're like, well, I could just go up, that's super easy, and then I'll work my way back down. And it's very different from how I play a lot of other games where I have to explore, because again, down is just the easier way to go, but not anymore. So it's,
there is a part where like you can ascend like midway through something and getting to the first dungeon or the first temple. And then I got to the one point and I was like, well, I guess I just have to jump out now because I'm at the top of where I can go. And then I was like, wait a minute, there's another ceiling. I could just ascend again. It took me like a long time to like figure that out. This is my other pro tip. You can ascend multiple times. Anytime there's a ceiling that's close enough, you can ascend through basically.
Yeah.
There's it does have to be close enough to you, which is part of the puzzle in the first one too. Like you have to like sometimes you have to raise your height to go through to ascend through something. So that's also good to know, I guess.
Yeah.
These are my slow gamer pro tips.
I haven't messed around with it much, but I bet you can like
I haven't either.
Launch yourself with something and then like hit the button quickly to ascend if you're like, too far below stuff.
I don't know if you can ascend in the air.
I don't know if you can trigger it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like I tried to do that on the ship, on the arc, the Stormwind arc, but I don't think I.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, I guess you could launch something else up then, like. Like I recently encountered these like spring zonai devices. So
yeah.
Probably put like a platform on top of it maybe, and then trigger it with you on top of the platform.
Oh yeah, one thing you were saying about the attaching things and rotating them. So what I was referring to was like when you attach something, it also sometimes kind of self-corrects to be in the right angle.
Yes, yeah,
the correct angle.
It does. Yeah.
But there was one thing that I attached like rockets to something, to a platform to do something, and one was attached straight up because I wanted to lift the platform straight up, and one was at an angle, and it like rocketed me like halfway away from like the thing. And I was like, oops, I should have made sure that was more straight. So yeah, I guess the physics can fuck you there, but that was pretty funny.
For some reason, I keep putting rockets backwards, being like, okay, this rocket needs to point this way, and then I hit it. I'm like, why am I going
into the ground?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, right, okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, I did something funny, and there's like a shrine where you had to like get some of these orbs up to a really high level, and they had like the flame emitters and hot air balloons, and so I was trying to attach both to the orb, and there's totally a place where you can set it and it won't move, and I didn't even think about it, but like I if you attach the like flame emitter, it starts to tip the orb over because it's heavy, and so like I was trying to like attach them quickly, and I wound up attaching them kind of like close enough that the flame sort of hit the thing, like because I attached it at an angle and stuff. But it was like this. I was like, this is a very dangerous device because it was like rising in a circle with like this stream of flame just shooting off at one angle. It's like it worked. It got up there.
It's totally fine. Every time Mike
and I'm like, there's like 5 different ways I could have made that thing stand still. Like there's like a little divot to put it in, or I could have attached it to a plank of wood first. And it's like, but nope.
So my husband, every time he was playing Breath of the Wild, he would like throw bombs to do things. Like he'd be like, I'm gonna catch fish, and just like throw bombs, and then he'd be like, I'm a hero. So like every time we like do something suspicious, I'm just like, I'm a hero, out of my way. Like, I like that he made a little airplane. He put like a glider on wheels and then put like a fan on the back, and he kept trying to get on it, but it was rolling away from him. Put it on higher, put it somewhere flat, or like put it on. It was really funny. It was like, you made it, and then it like it rolled and it like glided away like an actual airplane. It's like, oh my god, he did it.
Yeah.
It's slightly heavier at the back, I guess, so it actually like lifted off like a plane. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, I did that to transport a Korok once. So, like, I'm pretty sure the game just intended me to put him on the
attach a rocket
on the buggy and roll him down the hill, but I didn't know the buggy was there at first. So I was like, all right, I'll take a glider out of my inventory and we'll glide down this hill. And then I saw the buggy, and so I attached it to the buggy, and then we were like, wee.
Yeah.
My favorite way of addressing that issue was to just throw the Korok down the hill, and it just rolled on its giant backpack. It's like, I didn't even need any devices for this one. It was really funny. I just like picked him up and dropped him because I was gonna like reposition him to put him on something, and he just started rolling away. I was like, oh, okay, bye.
Also, you can get a towing harness for your horse, so you can like pull
tow
carts behind you and stuff. But yeah, you can just attach the Korok right to the harness.
Should you get one of those big like floating platforms and attach it to the harness? Think of all the things you could like float around. That would be fun.
Yeah, I think just the devices and I mean construction in general, but like with the addition of the devices,
really fun.
So fun. I found a device. Well, there's actually a shrine where there's a device that homes onto enemies, and you have to put weapons on it. It was just really satisfying to like use what they gave you, and like you make these monstrosities that go after, like it'll like roll towards them and just keep hitting them until they're dead, and like what you put on them and how you make. Oh, it was very fun.
That sounds fun.
I encountered that one.
The devices are fun.
But, yeah, there's so many. Like, I feel like Breath of the Wild had a lot of like, this is almost certainly not the intended solution, but it worked moments. But there's just like even more in this game. Like I've done that in like several shrines where I'm like, I'm sure this isn't what they intended, but it worked.
It doesn't even matter.
Nope.
It doesn't matter that my rocket flew diagonally or like whatever. It's like when my sister was playing this, she was like, "Oh, this isn't what they intended me to do." And it's like, it doesn't actually matter. Like that's the best part of this game.
I think that's like, what they intended you to do.
Right? They intended it to be solved in different ways.
Yeah,
like that's exactly what it is, and they gave you a bunch of different tools that you can use to solve the same problems, and it like adds more variability to the game.
It's like even in the shrines where like they somewhat limit your like access to things, like there's still so many different ways to do things.
Yeah.
I love watching other people play video games. It's so fascinating.
Like I just realized I just realized another solution to a shrine I just did before we started this, like thinking about it.
There's like
well, there was a shrine that I had difficulty with, which might have been the one that you're talking about, Ellen, where you ascension a couple times.
No, the time that I was referring to was getting to the boat.
Oh, gotcha.
There's like a tall pillar you ascend through multiple times.
Because there's one shrine for me that like I think I used recall because it was on a platform that you can lift and then but it would keep coming down. And like I kept not succeeding, and so I just stuck some sticks and climbed the sticks up. But I probably could have made a platform, because I think there would have been enough for you to make a platform. So you just ascend, that platform would go up there, and you'd ascend a third time. But yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of ways to approach several puzzles that are in the shrines, like you said.
Even one of the first ones is like the shrine where you get the fire flower things that you can attach to arrows.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the last shrines on Sky Island, the first Sky Island. And it, like, there's a part where you pick up all the, it's like a little row, like a little vineyard of little fire flower things that you have to pick. And I just was like, oh, well, they obviously want me to use this on this part of the shrine because there's like a thing up, like one of those, like, a chest on a shelf that you have to light it on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And so my husband picked all the fire flower things, and then he goes and lights it on the arrow on the torch that's right there. I was like, I didn't even have to waste my real flower.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the unlock. He's figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so yeah,
I
there's
really
no
like
way
the
where it's intended.
the like elemental arrows in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like attach things
Yeah.
to them instead of having to get like specific elemental arrows.
I didn't think I'd be happy with the bomb flowers instead of the bombs, but I really like them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I think it works pretty well. You can
As opposed
attach
to
it to
the
things, and you can throw
Sheikah
them
bombs.
and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
One
actually,
thing I haven't used yet is
Yeah,
the
and, like,
time
one thing-
bombs devices.
Yeah, I've seen-
I'm scared.
I've
I'm
seen
scared
those.
to use
Yeah,
them.
I've seen those happen near me, but I haven't used them myself.
Mhm.
But yeah, one thing I didn't like about the bombs, the Sheikah bombs in Breath of the Wild, is that they're not very powerful for like
Yeah.
damage wise.
mhm.
Unless you
Yeah,
blow
these
them
are
up
really
in your
fucking well.
own face, then they really are.
They do some,
Um,
yeah, but
But
they
yeah, these
never
are
did
like
enough
these are
damage
like
to enemies.
yeah, they don't do very much damage to enemies, but these are like regular old school Zelda
Mhm.
bombs, so they do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Equivalent of the bomb arrow, like, you know, there's the bomb arrows that you can buy in Breath of the Wild that are like super expensive and like
Mhm.
yeah, and yeah, I
Yeah,
felt like those were
that.
very weak too, right?
I don't think so. If you
No? Okay.
you know,
Yeah,
because
they
they also
were-
light the enemy on fire if it's not raining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It can cause
Okay.
some extra damage too.
Maybe I was just
Yeah.
up against
Plus
some
you
very
can, like,
strong enemies.
aim
That's
them
also how that
specifically,
works.
and
Yeah.
like so you can get
You
like
can
the double
headshot
damage on their
them.
eyes, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
also it causes like you can a lot of splash damage to everything.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
So there's like you hit the one moblin, and then all the bokoblins catch on fire also
Mhm.
around you. So there's an advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use them all the time. Or you
Okay.
can sit there for 20 minutes and throw Sheikah bombs at them,
yeah,
Yeah.
and eventually you'll kill them. Which
Yeah.
I've
I've
also
done that sometimes, but like it's hard to aim those right. Like
Yeah.
to like roll them and drop, like it's
Mhm.
yeah, it can be a pain. So I think the bomb flowers are more fun, and the throwing mechanic where you can like throw items
mhm.
is really useful. I think.
Yeah. The one thing that does bother me is just like it is fun, but I'm also a very stingy player. I don't like using my resources. So like even when I'm down to like half a heart and I have food in my inventory, I'm like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure there's a shrine close
But what
by.
if I need it?
Yeah, I'm gonna need it later, and there's a shrine close by, I think. So I'll just refill my hearts there and make it with half a heart up until then.
You're
I don't
brave.
know. Yeah, I don't know why it bites me in the face more than it should, or well, no, probably as much as it should. But
I definitely feel like this game is also tweaked to cause you to use more resources,
Yeah.
especially for healing, because they reduce the amount of healing that some of the food gives you. Like I think that like cooked mushrooms and apples like don't
mhm.
give you
Yeah, I
as many
don't-
hearts
I
back as
don't
they
know
used to.
if when you make a full meal out of them, if that's been reduced. But yeah, just I think
I don't
heating
know.
up individual
the
ingredients.
roasted
I think.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think as
yeah.
individual ingredients they might be less.
And like that was really convenient. I used to use them like that. I would like throw apples in a pile and roast them because they stack, so you can have like a shit ton of them.
yeah.
And meals don't stack, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. For my personal food play style, I'm not happy about that, but whatever,
Yeah.
it's fine. I think there's more meal spaces as well, so I don't think it's a big deal. Haven't had a problem yet.
What does everyone think about combining and making new weapons?
I love doing that.
I think it's like silly, but I don't care that much.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Like it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. I think
like their like rationale that all the weapons are damaged, so you have to combine them with stuff. But yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I like the happy little noise Link makes when he combines items, and I like making like ridiculously long items by attaching things to the end of spears.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like, no, my stick broke. And I'm like, okay, why did you have a long stick or whatever?
Yeah, and I do enjoy like how much power you can add to items. Like you got
Yeah.
this little, like 1 damage wooden stick, but you add the right like enemy horn to it or whatever, and it does like 17 damage now. Like
Mhm,
I need to
mhm.
experiment with that more, but
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
I think it's a good way to make like everything like useful, even like later on in the game.
That's true. You end up with
Yeah.
I have a lot of moblin horns in my save file from
Mhm.
Breath of the Wild.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, and like even like the crappy like early weapons. You can attach
Bricks.
something to the end of it and make it stronger. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one complaint I do have is I don't think there's a way in the menu to actually fuse items together. Like, you can't pause and pick your weapon and then be like, I want to
No,
add
you have to use
something
your
to it.
powers.
So you have to
Mhm.
drop it if it's in your inventory, and then so I
Yeah,
like
and
I
then
feel
the
like
item
that
has to be equipped to you, like the weapon
yeah.
or shield has to be equipped to
Um,
you to fuse it.
So I feel like that
I really like.
part is a little clunky, but it is kind of fun. And then I think I wish there was a bit more. Like, sometimes I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna add this to my shield. What is it gonna do? And then I do it, and it's like it either gives +1 defense or even maybe no defense to it. And so, like, I don't necessarily know if how these are gonna combine and react. And I think it would be nice if there was some sort of a little more of a visualization of like what to expect.
True.
yeah, I think it says it in the item descriptions. Like, what
Yeah,
to add.
but then you can't fuse them from there. So you like, and then if you had something on the floor, some of the things you can't pick up, like I don't know if you've fought those flux constructors or whatever they're called, the weird like box ones, or there's been some like bones. You can't pick them up, so you have to fuse them first and just sort of see. Maybe I don't remember if you can take pictures of them. Maybe in the compendium there might be information there. I haven't checked, but so I think that there's room for improvement there, but overall small critiques.
You just have to
on that.
experiment.
Yeah, it's like, I think
I see what you did there.
Yeah, it's like I feel like the
What?
Experiment.
Oh no, I didn't make a pun, but yeah.
I feel like the
Experiment.
like the lack of the like information on things on the ground is trying to encourage you to just mess around with it.
I suppose.
But-
Yeah.
You can always find another stick.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I like that it doesn't mess with like your main weapon. If you don't like what attached to it, you can just like
Yeah.
get rid of
That's
the
true.
thing
You
attached
can
to it. So.
diffuse it. Yeah.
Mhm.
I definitely didn't realize that. I thought it was gonna because it says like you have to remove them, and I thought it was just gonna like explode everything, like it would be like a waste. But it's like no, just like removes the thing that was attached, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a stress-free mechanic. You can always get your long stick back.
Yeah. It's also fun to like if you have a full like weapon inventory and you find another weapon, like you can just attach it to one of your weapons if you don't have room to pick it up. So
Oh,
like
another
I've done that a few
thing.
times. I was like, oh, I don't have room for this spear. That's okay. I'll attach it to this other spear.
Mhm. I didn't realize that there were 3 different types of rocks. Because I was trying
There's
to
like
make
big boulders and then small rocks, I guess.
and then stones, and stones make axes. And because like I was
Yeah,
trying to
the
make an
little ones.
axe, yeah,
Hmm.
and like
The ones that Korok's under.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, and like it took me a while to realize that there was 3 of them, and that's why sometimes I make an axe, sometimes I don't.
Sometimes you make a hammer. You either make a hammer
Yes.
or an axe, right?
Yeah,
So-
or a big hammer.
Yeah, the first one I encountered was a boulder, and so it said like
Mhm.
boulder, like hammer or whatever, and I was like, obviously this is for the really
I
big rocks. So
understand.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm happy that some characters came back.
Mhm.
Like by some, I mean basically all.
yeah, it's like even like little minor NPCs that like go mostly without comment. Like there are a couple ones where I was like, is that whoever? Yeah, I know who you are. Like,
I was like, it's Pura. She's like, go investigate this. And I'm like, I'll do whatever you want.
yeah, like you have some with like new designs, like we talked about Tulin, and like Pura's managed to like fix her aging device, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now she's the perfect age. I see.
Yeah.
Because she's like over 100 years old or whatever. I thought she was like old and wanted to make
Yeah,
herself
she's-
young. Isn't that the.
Yeah, she's older than Impa. She's Impa's older sister.
Right.
And so
Oh,
she
she's
was,
Impa's
like,
older sister.
yeah. And so she's like messing with the like aging thing and made herself a tiny
Yeah,
child.
made her
and,
a
like,
child.
And
Yes,
like, now she's
I
fixed
remember
it.
That's so funny.
Mhm.
Yeah. I enjoy her. I was like, yay.
Mhm.
And Impa's back too. But I really enjoy
Yep.
her. I was like, yay.
Yes.
Excited.
I was excited to see
And
Impa. I was like, oh,
Robbie-
she's walking around because she mostly just sits on her little thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
she
First
was
game,
like maybe
yeah.
not able to walk around. I was like, oh, she's like in a balloon and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know surveying the land. Everybody's like out
and outpacing her
about.
guard because he's just like,
Mhm.
Impa, wait for me.
Yeah, I think that's it is actually nice to see them in different places. I think that's a good advantage. Or like a nice change. Is there stuff that you're happy that they like kept from Breath of the Wild other than what we talked about before?
I mean, the overall gameplay is like it's still the same base, which fantastic. The formula, everything like that. I do. I mean, like the shrine concept. Yeah, I mean, like I think the overall flow of the game's very good.
The map.
Yeah.
I think the shrine concept works really well for like demonstrating all the things you can do with the various gameplay elements. So I think it works really well to keep that here for having a new set of gameplay.
Oh, absolutely. Well, actually, we have another list favorite change and new thing.
Yeah,
and mine is kind of a mix of both of those. I went to my favorite place, which is the Maze Island. That's in the northeast.
And now it appears to be in the sky.
Yeah.
Or both.
It's both.
It's both.
And
yeah,
like,
I thought it was in both places.
So I went in, and oh god, I love that the music for that, the Lost Woods theme, and you know, the maze.
It's cool.
And the maze itself was cool, and then there's a sky element to it, and then I went underground where the Guardians were before, and that was fun, and like so that I think like I haven't made it to the sky part of that yet, but I can't wait. I think that, and then I think I saw another maze somewhere else too that I'm excited for.
Yeah, I was near one of them. I think the one over in like the Hebra region. But I was never very good at the maze parts in Breath of the Wild. I found them kind of frustrating, and so like I found it and I was like, that looks even worse, and went in the other direction. I was like, something's going on over there. That doesn't look good.
Yeah,
that's funny.
They're probably pretty fun with the new mechanics, though.
Probably, because you can just like go through things and like. I think the way they integrated the new things into the old map is really cool. It's like just familiar enough, but without being boring.
Yeah, it's been fun going to like places I remember and seeing like
this place.
They've got some new thing there, something different.
Yeah. Pirates. Cosmo, were you gonna say something?
The depths. I did not know that was going to be a thing. I don't know if I missed it in the trailers or if there was not.
It wasn't in the trailer.
Okay, but like I went down.
There's enough stuff to be like, there's going to be some kind of cave or underground aspect to it, but I wasn't clear about the whole like entire underground world that's dark. And creepy, so.
Yeah.
So I went down there and again I immediately was like, wrong way, let's go, because I did so that was one of the first things I did is because I like after I got the glider, I talked to Robbie, I went down there, and then I traversed from where Robbie sends you all the way to get the last power up, all in one go, and like I was just like, oh my god, this is so cool. There's like the gloom in it is really like you can kind of see it even if it's dark, but then you light up and you see everything around. Like there was some time where like I saw because like again, stingy, don't like to use my resources. I can tell where the gloom is, so I was like, okay, this thing's right ahead. I'm not going to throw any. So I keep walking, and all of a sudden,
some places are super dark though.
Well, yeah, and then it disappeared. It's like, what the fuck? And then I threw it, and that's because there was a cliff that I just walked into. It's like,
yeah, it's lots of like cliffs and like canyons, basically
mountains. Yeah, it's like a whole.
Well, there was another time where again the thing was right there. It was very close, and there was no gloom around, so I didn't light it up. And then next thing I know, I fall down into gloom, into like a little like mini,
fall down
like
to death.
pothole, basically. Yeah, it's like again. I should have expected this.
By your own petard here, but not using the
I know. Just use my
They give you so many of the bright blue seeds that I don't have any problem with that.
I had like 99.
Like I have some of those same like, but what if I need it later kind of thing. But when I have like over 100 of them, I'm like, all right, I can use these.
Well, but I've also been selling them because again, it's like, well, I could sell an amber, but I'm probably going to need that at some point.
Or I could sell like 50 bright blue seeds.
And then like again, because like. Another one of the things that I want to do early is release the Great Fairies and get my armor up, and I know those are going to take resources, so I don't want to sell anything because I might need those. And never know when you're gonna need it, and you're like, oh, I
If
should
it
have just
uses your
died.
mind, you don't need rupees to free the Great Fairies.
But you do need rubies to upgrade your armor. I don't know how much. The first set is 10. I don't know if like you need a lot for like tier 4, but yeah.
I know you needed a lot of rupees to free them in the first game.
Yeah, now you don't. There's like
Nope.
they have something that they want. I
Yeah,
can't
there's
remember
like
what
a
it is,
little
but it's not
side
money.
quest associated with them.
Yeah.
It's like, bring me this. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
well, I don't. Okay, I'll figure that out later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot you needed rupees. I thought you just needed parts, but I guess you need rupees as well.
I think that's new in this
Rupees
game that you
most
need
of-
rupees for the upgrade.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't think.
Yeah,
you
because I guess
needed
before
them
the
in last
rubies
game.
were to unlock them in the first
Yeah,
place.
you needed like thousands.
Yeah,
to
you need,
unlock
like,
them, and then-
5,000, I think, for the last one, right?
For the last one, you need a
Mhm.
lot, like a substantial amount. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not 5,000. I think it's like 50,000. Like it's like
Oh, really?
you
Wow.
really. Yeah, I can't remember how much it was.
I don't
but
think it's
was
that
like,
much,
I
but
had
it was a lot. Yeah.
Maybe it's 5,000, but you need. I remember I had to
Mhm.
leave and come back.
Yeah,
amount.
you need a lot, and they're
And I
like
had
Breath
to-
of the Wild is more stingy with rupees than previous games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but I had a lot when I went there, and it still wasn't enough. You know,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
I remember. I find this game I haven't found a lot of rupees yet. I
No.
think I have like 50 right now.
Mm.
I found a lot
squished
of
on the
bluepies, and
armor,
you can
but-
like ping them with an arrow to get a
Mm,
decent
mhm.
little spill of
Decent
If
rupees.
they're
amount.
close enough, you can
Nice.
whack them with your sword.
But then you
which I
waste
definitely
your
did.
arrows, which are another
They
very
pop
highly.
off. But
Well,
you
maybe.
find arrows all the time. I have like
You
100.
do actually.
Yeah, they're
actually,
pretty-
now I've
Yeah,
gotten
they're
to the
pretty free
point where
with
I don't need them.
arrows and-
Yeah,
they're
starting
pretty
off,
free
I
with
felt
arrows
that
and-
way.
every
but,
box,
but you're right. Now,
in every
I have
pot.
plenty.
Mhm.
Because like there's no variant in the arrows, so like every place where you get like fire arrows, like bomb
Yeah.
arrows, it's like all arrows, so it's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Oops, all arrows.
Convenient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice because you can just turn them into whatever you need instead of
Yeah.
having to collect some of each kind.
Yeah.
Also, pro
got
tip
the
in
point.
the depths: if you find a stall horse, you can ride it right over the gloom.
I saw that. Oh, over the gloom, you said.
Oh, neat.
I saw a bunch of stall horses, but then there was like staphos or whatever on them, and I was like, or
Mhm.
little bokoblin skeletons on them, and I was like, I don't.
Yeah, I
want
found
to
some,
fight
and
you.
I had Tulin's little avatar with me, and he pinged one of
Oh.
them, so they fell off with the stall horse, and I was like, "Don't mind if
That's
I do,"
good.
and hopped right on top, and I was like, "I wonder," and
yay,
then rode
wee.
right across the gloom.
Nice. They're already dead. Who cares?
Yeah, they're nice. The stall horses are nice.
No,
As soon as the thing pings,
Sun's-
as
Yeah,
soon
but
as
the sun's
the
not-
rider's gone, they're like, "Okay,
Yeah. And the sun's never going to come up there, so
yeah, they can live
you
forever."
won't lose them forever. Is there something that you wish they kept that you haven't seen yet? I was originally going to say Hero's Path, but I hear you can't get that. according to
Yes, you
Karen.
can.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh,
because
yeah,
I
and then-
liked that.
I also got what I think is the ability. Do you remember how in the DLC you could put a teleport pad down wherever you want, and you can come back to it
Mhm.
later? I
Yeah, you
think
can unlock that too.
I think I've got that, which makes me hope that you can get the ancient horse gear, because that I feel like is just so necessary. Because I'm with my horse for a little bit, and then like oop, and then it's gone. I'm like, I'm not going back for my horse. Next stable, I'll get it back.
I literally
Yeah,
never
there's
bring
enough-
my horse anywhere.
Yeah, there's
Still.
enough stuff about changing your horse's gear that I figure that those are probably somewhere in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Excuse me.
Um,
I guess I kind of miss Mifa's grace because I definitely fall off of things that are too high and
mhm.
don't open my glider in time. So.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get another.
Or go like
different
rolling
stage
down a
tower.
hill and keep getting fall damage every time I hit,
Mhm.
hit the
Oh.
ground.
Yeah.
Every time I jump off something and died, and then Mifa saved me, I'd be like, "Thanks, Mifa." I was like, "Man, you're such an idiot." Mifa died so that you could jump off of cliffs accidentally.
Mifa died, so you don't have to.
Yeah. Mifa in the back in the flashback, she's all like, "I always liked healing your wounds" or whatever. It's like, okay.
It's like, good to know Link has always been a dumbass.
I also ship it, huh?
He's
Yeah,
got
I know.
he's got the Triforce of Courage, which means throwing himself off of cliffs.
He's the
or
Triforce of dumbass
into
Yeah,
enemies.
exactly. Somebody has to. Zelda's like the Triforce of Wisdom, so she's like
Mhm.
nerding it up.
Yeah, she
And
needs
then
someone
Ganon
there who's
has all
willing
his
to throw
minions.
himself full body into enemies so she can study stuff.
Exactly. I'm telling you, it's like the nerd and the jock.
um,
Anyway.
Change I'm disappointed they didn't make. You still can't pet the doggos.
What? There's no cats to pick up that I've seen yet, which was the greatest single feature of Twilight Princess. So.
Yeah.
Dogs are fine and whatever, but I want to pick up cats. The dogs are cute though. They still you can still give them treats and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, they're cute. I like how they like chase their tails and catch it, and I'm like, oh, you did it, good job.
they're like very happy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They just are sitting there panting happily in the stables. So it's nice.
There's like one little like mini quest that has like a cave with a whole bunch of treasure chests in it, and they imply that you're supposed to like feed a dog some meat so it'll bring you to the right treasure chest. But I didn't have any meat, so I just manually opened a whole bunch of treasure chests until I found it. That works too.
Oh, I thought the treasures were going to become like an enemy, like those likes that are the Ruby likes or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Or I guess there is a chest enemy. It's like a chest Octorok.
Yeah, the Octorok guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's like all the other chests just had like a single green rupee in them.
Oh, okay.
In that
That's
area.
fine. That's reward enough to open it, especially at this point in the game where we don't have
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
money.
like, this is fine. There's not that many in this room. Yeah, I don't like the likes in this
I
game.
was gonna say, speaking of likes,
Oh,
how do you feel
yeah.
about them?
Oh my god.
Oh, they're disgusting and horrifying.
Yeah. I think they're generally
First time I
pretty-
saw it, I didn't know what it was. I was like, "What the fuck are you?" And then
What
it
is
ate.
that?
Then it ate me, and it's like, "Your shield has been taken." I was like, "Oh, I know what you are."
Mhm.
Mine didn't eat me. The first one that I fought didn't eat me. I didn't lose my shield or anything, but then it died and it dropped like a thing, and it was like something. It was like, oh, that's a like.
Yeah, I got a
I'm
little-
staying out
Yeah.
of caves forever.
Yeah, I got a little too close. I was trying to like throw a bomb at it, and it ate me. So
Rude. You don't even have to do that. You can just like wildly stab at its little like protrusion.
Yeah.
target.
Yeah, I find them generally pretty easy, and then you find the variations of them, and then like it gets a little more complicated. But I think once you get
There's
used to
more
it,
than
it's-
one type. Ugh,
Oh
I
yeah.
have a- yes.
great.
I've only encountered
Great.
one other
Great.
type, but yeah, I have it. I find a little trouble getting like close enough that it'll stick its little tongue out, and I can hit it, and like
Pretty
not
sure I
close
also
enough
just
that it'll
burned-
eat me.
There was one that I found that had like one of those like Zonai fire spitting things. that
Yeah,
I
if you
just,
have
like,
fire, that
immediately
works really
used.
well. But
Oh,
if you
yeah.
don't,
I don't know. It's a good game. I don't have any other major thoughts right now. It's fun.
Um,
Such a fun
yeah.
game.
Yeah. I again, like I maybe I'm a little underwhelmed with the sky portion of it. I feel like that there's not very many, which I guess is fine. But like also like I'll find getting up there. I guess is what I've been having a lot of trouble with. Is like I'll see that there's islands. I'll find a rock that fell from the sky, and then it won't take me all the way up, or it's not close enough to the islands, so it wasn't the right one. I guess I don't know.
Use the towers.
Yeah, but there's
Is
some that
that-
are further away from the towers. So like I think with how few there are, and maybe not enough guidance on how to get there from me personally, or maybe I just haven't been like I have to like pay more attention to the sky rocks. So I don't know. I mean, like I think it's maybe early for me. I'm probably missing something. That's very possible at least. So I don't know.
yeah, I've usually found that there's like one you can get to from like a tower jump, and then like from there you can work your way up higher. But
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done a ton of exploring of them.
Yeah.
I haven't either. I just use the towers to like then dive all the way down to somewhere on in Hyrule. So
Yeah, I like that you
Yeah,
can
I'll
do
probably
like
do
the
that eventually.
like the Skyward Sword, like skydive into the
Mm-hmm.
into the world.
I think you can also glide from other sky islands too if you're up high enough. Like, you can probably
Oftentimes, yeah.
glide from
Mhm.
like the Temple of Time.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be
Yeah,
able
like
to
a couple.
not
Yeah, like a couple times I've
Zonai
gotten
thing
like
in a rocket or something.
yeah, like I've done like a jump from the tower and got me on a lower island, and then I could like climb a little higher and ascend to another one, and then like glide to another one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
There is one other complaint that I do have,
Mhm.
and it's with the new ability. Did you get it, Ellen? The final ability.
No.
Do you
I've
know what
got
it
it.
is?
Wait.
Yeah.
What is it?
You don't mind spoiling it?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Basically, it's you can save constructions. So if the
Oh.
parts are nearby, it will create it for you. But
you mean like it's like a little? Oh, you can save like
like
a
blueprints.
plan. Yeah. Okay. I see.
Yeah, and it also
Cool.
like remember, so it has a history as well, so you can go through things that you've created recently. But you should favorite it because every time you attach something, that's a new blueprint.
I see.
And then if you don't have the parts for it there, you can spend Zonite charges, I think, or Zonite, some resource to finish it.
Create them.
But if you don't finish it, I think that like if it's incomplete, it just falls apart. So you have to complete the blueprint 100%, which I feel like is a little like because I put like a basic like cart with both fans and a rocket. And, like, the fans were there, but the rockets weren't, so I either had, like, it either wouldn't construct the whole thing, or I'd have to spend the resources for the rockets, which weren't necessary. So, like, I do feel like,
Maybe you could save, like, a variant with a rocket or with fans.
Yeah,
right?
but then you have to have all these different variants for, like, okay, if there's one fan, if there's two fans, you know, or just, like, so, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if it would just generate it with what is there, and you can, like, drop it, I would be more satisfied. But I guess if there are like, if you're missing enough parts that a piece wouldn't be attached to anything, then that just falls. Which, you know, what are you going to do about that?
You just have to manually glue it together yourself.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's.
I just save the one basic one and then attach your. Extra
Yeah,
I feel like that's the smarter way to do it. Probably.
Make a basic cart and then you can attach a fan or a rocket.
But yeah, otherwise, yeah, but that is pretty neat. Definitely saves some time, and it's kind of neat to create basic blueprints so you can just make them yourself.
Yeah.
You can spend the resource
also,
to just.
I don't want to spoil Ellen on this, but I was really entertained by the character you met during that.
Yes,
the quest to get
was
that
very
power.
pleasing. Yeah,
I was gonna say, and how does one get this power? But I'll figure it out.
You just gotta do more of the depths quests.
Yeah, it's in the depths.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's one of the
I don't like
early
it down
ones.
there, but okay.
Yeah, it's like you do that first one that like.
I did the Robbie one.
Yeah, and then like. I can't remember if you talked to Robbie or you talked to what's the girl's name?
Joshua.
Yeah. But yeah, one of them tells you to go back in and do more stuff, and then like if you follow that quest for a little bit, it'll get you there.
Okay.
You don't have to go too far into it.
And then
good.
I went back into the depths at some point and somehow managed to go back to that same place without realizing it, and like. I was I didn't realize how because maybe I approached it from a different direction or something, and I didn't realize I was there until at one point I was like, "Wait a minute, this looks very familiar."
The depths is a little confusing.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely intentionally confusing to navigate, but
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's definitely my favorite. I think partially because I didn't know anything about it, so when I was like, "Oh, this is really this is big." And then seeing how big it was, because I think it's pretty much the full map of Hyrule.
I mean, I assume
from
that.
What it looks like, and then on
like
top
Nintendo
of
was
that,
all like Sky Islands, the sky.
Yeah.
It's like turns out actually it's like the underground,
right?
The
and
real
then
unlock.
And then there's just some parts in there that are really cool. Just like
it's
again,
like
it's very massive and.
It's like the whole span of the depths, plus all the like caves and wells and stuff. Like there's just so much added underground in Hyrule. Like
yeah,
they added a lot of caves. They're like everywhere. Also, so there's also underground on the overworld, basically.
Yeah,
there's caves in the sky too. So
Oh, are there? Neat. Oh yeah, we've been to them. On the Sky Island.
Didn't you go to the Zonite one to get Zonite on the first island?
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So. There's caves everywhere. There's like 2 caves on that main island, Sky Island. So.
Oh, the song that I really liked was the boss theme in the Wind Temple. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, it was cool. All the music in the Wind Temple was cool. It was very ominous.
It had like
boss was pretty cool.
It had like more of the it had like the part of the Mulgara theme from Wind Waker and the Dragon Roost Island theme, which is already incorporated into the Rito Village theme. So it was really cool.
Yeah, wait, what did you say was in the Rito theme?
The Dragon Roost Island music is incorporated in Rito Village in Breath of the Wild.
I love the
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes.
Oh wait, is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
when it was
Yeah, it's like a
frozen,
slow.
it's like a really mellow.
I was
version
thinking
of
that
it.
was just the opening theme of Wind Waker, but you might be right. That
No,
is,
no.
That is Dragon
It's
Roost,
like
isn't
the
it?
Rito. Yeah, so it's like the Dragon Roost Island theme. So in Wind
Yeah.
Waker, it's like do 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 do, and then in Breath of the Wild, it's like way more.
It's
chill,
like really slowed down.
Mhm.
really
Yeah,
slow.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
That's the whole opening, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
there's even
yeah.
a different version at night too, if
Mhm.
I'm not mistaken. Oh wow, somebody trains today.
Yeah.
This is a casual episode. I'm definitely not gonna edit it out. I mean, what?
I also really like the cold version of the Rito Village theme.
Yeah. I like the cold version of the Rito Village. It was like, wow, it's so
Yeah.
cold here.
Yeah. Oh, that was a pain. Because I had run out of
Spicy peppers.
spicy. Well,
I had to
because you needed.
leave the. It took me so long to get up to the stupid arc that I had to leave and come back once I got to one of the shrines because I ran out of spicy peppers. I didn't have enough money to buy the armor.
Yeah, I had
And
just
I
enough
was like,
to
I
buy
have 10
one
minutes
piece
left
of
spicy
armor.
peppers. I better finish this boss.
Yeah, I had
I,
enough to buy
um,
one piece of Rito armor, and then I added that to my cold pants from the sky, and that was enough.
Yeah, that would probably
get
be
me
enough.
through.
I didn't have
Well-
enough for any of them.
So if I had the cold pants equipped and just did a regular cold meal, would that have covered me? They
If you have
stack
the cold
like that?
I think
pants
so. I
equipped
think
and
they
then you can do
stack.
the spicy pepper meal, then it
Oh,
stacks.
I
That's
didn't
what I
even
did.
try that. I should have. But I made meals that had the double cold resistance, and so I was using those, and I ran out.
Yeah, but then when you get to the top, like the tippy top,
hmm
it gets even colder.
Yeah, that's what I
So,
mean.
like,
When
you
you're
could just-
in like
I
the
just yeah, that's what I did. But I wore my
Um,
cold pants. I wore the pants and had the super spicy food,
Mhm.
just like sautéed peppers or whatever.
Yeah, I just had
Oh,
the
anyways,
cold pants and the Rito jacket. So.
Yeah, I think like that or the headgear would have helped, but I just didn't have the money to pay for them. I think I still only have like 50 rupees. Peppers are free, so
Mhm.
it's just time constrained. I was like, I need to finish this puzzle quickly. Like I can't. Yeah, there's not even that much. It didn't take me that long. It probably took like, I don't know. It must have taken less than an hour, like around an hour.
Well, the
I
bouncy
think I
ships
had-
were really fun too. on
They
the
were
way.
fun.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
fun. Once I kind of like figured it out, like at first I was like, why do I keep missing them? But then once I got the hang of it, it was fun.
I, again, in casual fashion, I missed the sail and made it onto the boat, but couldn't climb up onto the sail. And like,
You can
I
ascend to
think
the sail.
I
Yeah.
know. I figured out after like that happened to me twice. The third time I was like, "But you have to get up here somehow,
You
right?"
have to ascend to the sail, but then
And
you
you
can,
ascend,
then you have
yeah.
to jump to trigger it. But yeah, you can just
Yeah.
ascend.
And then, oh my god, I was so mad. There's a shrine where you have the sailboats as well. I think it's one. Yeah, it's up on the
It's
path
like
there.
Yeah, there's
I
like the
didn't
last one.
realize that yellow thing was a switch and not a torch. Because I was like, okay, there's a torch here, but that's on the other side. How do I open this gate? Way too long trying to figure that out.
That's funny.
Yeah, it took me a little while because at first I was like, I have to find a way to ascend up into that room, but you don't. You just shoot it.
Mhm.
You know, Zelda style.
Yep.
Yeah.
When in question, shoot the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot the thing that
There's
glows.
definitely like I definitely feel like my Zelda knowledge has enhanced my ability to play this game from like every game to now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I accidentally pulled off something really cool with the boss because it's got those like sections you have to dive through
Yes.
to kill it.
It
And so
does?
Yeah, I hit them with arrows, but yeah, you can dive through it or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh, that would have been so cool! I wish I had done that.
Yeah, I just hit it with arrows. From
yeah.
far-
After
from-
it shoots a few of its
Same.
things off, you can just dive right through it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I dove through one, and then I opened my glider to catch the updraft and ascend back up, and I managed to go through a second one on the updraft
Oh,
exciting.
because the belly doesn't have any spikes on it. So.
No, you can. When it was flipped that way, I would just shoot the.
Yeah, and I was like, "That's so cool! I will never replicate it." But
That's funny.
I
It's
felt
like how I
pretty,
caught
pretty
it.
cool when I did it.
Only the coolest thing that happened to me was when I caught the falling star while I was like diving. It was like, this will never happen again.
Oh,
That's
have you?
pretty cool.
You haven't been in the depths, right, Ellen? Or
I have
just a
been in
little
the
bit?
depths.
Okay. Have you guys seen the dragons down there?
No.
What?
Yeah,
No.
At least Nadra hangs out in the depths. I've seen her a couple of
Whoa.
times. I know, I was really surprised. I heard like the dragon music and I was like,
Nadra's-
what? And I like turned around and I'm
Nadra's,
like, oh.
Yeah, I found so Dinral I think
Parasite free
is on the
currently?
main
Yeah.
level, is on like the surface.
I mean, she goes
And
between
then-
them all. I mean, I don't know why I say she.
Oh.
Nadra just seems like a she to me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, she'll try,
Acceptable.
and you can actually see her like going down some of the openings and stuff.
Oh, into
like
the
I've
hole?
caught her like go down into the hole,
Whoa.
and but yeah, the first time I saw her, she was in the depths, and then I was like, "What? You just live down here now?" But then I saw her go up go up again, and then like later on, I saw her
Wow.
dive down into the depths, and I was like, "Oh, cool! She's like all over the
Oh.
place."
There's dragons everywhere because it's a
Yeah.
sky dragon also.
Yeah, Farouche is on
No,
fire.
that one's not Farouche.
No, it's
Is
a
it
different
not?
dragon up there.
It's a different dragon in the Sky Island that's like gray, blue, kind of.
Mhm.
I just assumed.
Yeah, Farouche is the green one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Yeah, I haven't
never
been-
got a close look, so I just assumed it was.
yeah, but yeah, I haven't been close to Dinral or Farosh, so I don't know if they also go into the underground. But
I
Nadra
saw
at least hangs
Dinral
out down
from-
there sometimes.
From really far away, and I was like, "Hey,
Mhm.
look, Dinral's a fire dragon, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
saw.
think I
was
saw
like, "Oh,
Farosh
good,
in the
Dinral."
distance, but I haven't seen
Yeah.
Dinral yet, and I haven't been close to either of them. So,
Oh, exciting.
but yeah, Nadra at the very least hangs out in the underground sometimes.
Farosh used to dive into the water, so I wouldn't be surprised if I like the dragons.
hmm
Yeah.
I believe
they're
they're going
always,
to be
like-
relevant somehow to this plot in this game, since there's dragon
Yeah,
cues and
the
whatever.
yeah, it's like the Zonai seem strongly connected to the dragons.
dragon
so.
Yeah.
connected.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But yeah, the dragon—they're always so awe-inspiring when you're near the dragons.
I know.
They
There's
were
so...
in Breath of the Wild, and, like they
dragon.
continue
Yeah.
to be like.
Mm-hmm.
The first time it happened, I was like, "What is happening? Why is there music?" And then it's like giant dragon in the sky, and you're like, "Wow!"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or like, "Oh my god, is that a dragon in the distance?" They're like, "It's a dragon!"
yeah. The
My-
first time you see it, you're just like, "Whoa!"
Wow.
And like they don't really stop being "Whoa."
There's also not
No,
really,
not ever.
Mhm.
like there's dragon enemies in other Zelda games, but there's never just dragons chilling. You know what I mean? Like these are
Mhm.
non-enemy
And, like,
mobs.
I feel like Skyward Sword
Basically.
technically had them, but they weren't as majestic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because yeah,
I think their presence in Skyward Sword definitely led to their presence in Breath of the Wild. Like,
Yeah.
they're definitely very
Yeah.
different creatures. Like,
And then
Yeah, but they're so cool. in
Mhm.
Breath of the Wild.
oh, so my most recent playthrough with Breath of the Wild that I started, my the first time I encountered them, I was in Farron Woods, in one of the rivers, trying to get somewhere, and all of a sudden I hear some music and balls of electricity coming right at me while I'm in the water. And I was like, oh, I know how this ends, and that's how it ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found Farosh's spawn for the first time this last time I played Breath of the Wild, like at the top of that
Oh.
waterfall.
Oh,
Like,
you
I
didn't know?
Oh
Yeah, I'd never
yeah.
been up there before.
I knew where
so-
all their spawns
Mhm.
were, because nature
Oh.
spawns in the valley. Farosh spawns in the water, in the jungle,
Mhm.
and then Dinral spawns somewhere over.
From the volcano.
Yeah, he
It's,
hangs out
around
by
the
the
volcano.
by the skeleton, I think.
Yeah, by the big
The Leviathan.
Leviathan skeleton. Yeah.
But yeah, I never
Um,
I knew kind of where they hung out, but I never really saw their spawn point. At least not Farosh's
Yeah.
spawn point, which is very cool coming out of the
Yeah, it's,
water at the
popping
top
out
of the
the
waterfall.
waterfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Mhm.
So
It is dangerous, like Cosm said, to hang
Yeah.
out around there, though.
Mhm. Yeah. So something else that I been thinking about is the in at least Breath of the Wild is the Zora armor, which lets you ride
Mhm.
waterfalls to the top.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's going to happen again, or if that might be the ability you get from one of the sages. But they're the Sky Islands that have a waterfall. Like that.
Waterfall.
I would love to ascend that in the same way. I feel like it would be just very satisfying.
Yeah, I
It's
feel like it's
also,
got to
like-
be back because there's so many waterfalls. In this
Waterfalls.
world.
Yeah.
There's the sticky climbing armor that you get.
Yeah, that's so
Yes!
nice.
Oh, I
wanna
can't
get
wait.
that.
like the
Mhm.
yeah. I haven't gotten the armor yet.
The
I'm
reward.
partway through that quest, but also just
Yeah.
the ability to make elixirs that will let you stick to things while it
Mhm.
rains. That's
Mhm.
really nice. 'Cause that was one of the most
Mhm, mhm.
frustrating things
So-
in Breath of the Wild. You just basically couldn't
Yeah.
climb when it was raining.
Mhm.
When it's raining. I know. But climbing is so fun.
Yeah,
you
so you
know?
just have to sit there and wait for the rain to stop.
Yeah.
Yup.
You just make
So-
a little fire.
But it's
I
raining.
haven't
Find
Mhm,
shelter and make a little fire. Yeah.
I've been having trouble getting the sticky lizards. Do you have
I
to
haven't seen
like?
them.
And then I ended up shooting them with arrows, and that works.
Yeah.
But is there a better strategy than to like use your arrows on them? I'm because if there's
the ceiling when you walk by them.
that's
You
true.
can grab them quickly.
But then yeah.
But I've also found sticky frogs out in the world, and they're easier to grab.
Right, I forgot about
They're
them.
not
I've
as
run into a couple.
scurry-y, so...
Yeah.
The lizards are fast.
Yeah.
So.
And then, have either of you glowed?
I haven't done it yet, but I picked up
I have
several
material.
things
Yeah,
that
I
tell
have-
you can.
I
have-
like, it's like, oh, you can glow, and I was like, this could be useful, I guess. I guess it'd be useful in the depths, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
really funny to me.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've made some, but I haven't done it yet. I'm kind of
Should do
curious
it.
to see.
Mm.
I know I should.
Yeah, I've got some depths dragonflies in my pockets and some glowing cave fish,
Yeah.
so...
Yeah, it seems like an opportunity.
Yeah, I think it would be useful in the depths, but I haven't tried it yet.
Mhm.
Because I'm scared of the depths, so...
Me too. It's like not even that scary. It's like just scary enough that I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, it's like a fear of the unknown. It's like, what's going to be
Mm-hmm.
just past
Yeah.
my vision cone.
Just in the darkness. Who knows?
Mhm.
This is the problem. It's like you can't even see like an outline. It's like literally nothing. It's like,
Yeah.
well, guess I'll just keep hurling.
Yeah, it's like you can just see like horrifying glowing enemies in the distance and like,
Right.
the blanket
Lots
of
of
gloom over
fires.
everything, and that's about it. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
and like Cosm said, it's
Yeah.
set up so that you can be like, oh, that's not too far. I'll just walk, and then you'll slide
No,
right
it's
down into
far.
like a little
Yeah.
canyon full of gloom.
Like I can see enough.
Yeah.
No, you cannot. Do you have any final thoughts? It's good.
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. I think that they've definitely done enough to that this doesn't feel like a DLC or
Yeah.
anything. It's a
Mhm.
brand new game that's built off of Breath of the Wild. It's great. I'm enjoying it.
Definitely
um,
lived up to the hype.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
It's really good. I was expecting it to be good, but I'm like impressed with just how massive and
Mhm.
exciting it
The
feels to
scale.
be in this world. Like I said, I
Yeah.
feel like I barely scratched the surface, and I've
Yep.
been playing for about the same amount of time as it took me to like speed run Breath of the Wild a couple
Mhm,
weeks ago.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well, part of the reason Breath of the Wild is because you already played it.
That's
Yeah.
Like you know where to go and stuff. Like this is
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I gotta like figure out how to use these new powers, or I got like
yeah, but even like just on the basic level, it's like I feel like I've barely like touched parts of the map. Like
yeah, I know.
hmm
I think by this time in playing Breath of the Wild and this playthrough, I've probably also been playing for about the equivalent amount of time, and it's like I've already opened way more of the map in the Breath of the Wild game.
mhm.
In Tears of the Kingdom, it's like you have the depths and you have the sky. I've only been to the main sky island. I've been in the main part of the depths. Did one temple, and like some of those sky towers are hard to get to. Like it's gonna be
Mhm.
it's gonna be a challenge just to get to them and stuff. And you don't have things like Revali scale, so
Yeah.
and like I haven't increased my stamina that much yet,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's fun. It's such a good.
Mhm.
I don't know when when I'm playing it, when I played Breath of the Wild, like before Animal Crossing came out, Breath of the Wild was my like pandemic, the world sucks and this is like fun game to just like run around and like,
Mhm.
like I just enjoyed spending time in the world. And when I play Tears of the Kingdom, I'm just like I'm so happy right now, even in the
Mhm.
like in the depths and stuff. I'm like, this is scary, but I'm happy. Like
hmm
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just a game that brings me a lot of joy. So
Yeah, I'm also like really intrigued by the plot. I want to see
plot.
what's happening. Like
yeah,
Breath of the Wild, like,
Like, I already
you
know-
kind of knew what happened at the beginning of Breath of the Wild.
hmm
Like you had to uncover like some details in the memories and stuff, but
Yeah.
you kind of knew the basic things happened. It's like the
there was a
attack
war,
failed,
champions
people
died,
died.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The champions failed. Zelda's
Mhm.
holding back Ganon still. Like, there's nothing at the end that's revealed that wasn't revealed at the beginning.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's more like
I guess.
it's almost more about like Link's relationship with Zelda that's revealed through like those memories
Yeah.
and stuff.
And like Zelda's, I think it shows Zelda's character growth
Mhm.
because like it
Mhm.
shows Zelda's struggles. There's Zelda's memories. They're like Zelda's photos because Zelda was
Yeah.
carrying the Sheikah Slate. So like it's like one of the reasons that I love Breath of the Wild is like it really illuminates Zelda's character in this
Mhm.
kind of like this iteration of Zelda. It's Link's relationship with Zelda and like Zelda's kind of her struggle and her failure is what's revealed in the memories.
Mhm.
And this time it's like the opposite. It's like I think what's going to be revealed is like her scheme to like set up success in the future because she's in the past, right? So
Yeah.
that's my if I know anything about Zelda, it's this. If I know anything about this
so it's
series,
like-
that's what's going to be happening.
Yeah, and it's like I love that like interpersonal stuff from Breath of the Wild, but like this time
too.
I'm like, what happened? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and like the Zonai, like Rauru, and like that world is also mysterious. Like it's really interesting. Like they talk about like the Sealing War, which we know about, but there aren't like other Zelda mythologies.
Oh god, I was
around
like, wait,
Zonai.
Sealing War, CIELING?
No.
Yeah, no, I got you.
S-E-A-L.
Yes, I
yeah,
got
you
it
have
now.
to you have to use Ascension in that war.
Yeah. The war of sealing, not the war on the ceiling. Anyways, yeah, so. But this is like, there's no other Zelda mythology but the Zonai, right? Like, I mean, I guess there might be some in Breath of the Wild, but I don't even know. It's just like these are the ruins and whatever. Like, this is like, they're all like, oh yeah, that thing that happened, or like, oh, I heard about Rauru, or like there are all these like really ancient myths nobody really knows. So it's like I'm interested in like the new plot that's going to be revealed there.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And I actually thought that the figure in the statues and stuff with Rauru was Zelda, is a different person. So I thought that at first, but it is revealed through one of the flashbacks that it's not. And I don't think that's a huge spoiler to say, because I don't even. I mean, like I guess that's the first Queen of Hyrule or whatever. But I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of things revealed about her yet, so that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So let's go play more of
if you
it.
listen this far, you should buy it. Yeah, right.
Yep.
It's only 10:30 here.
Yeah. Sleep is for the weak.
I gotta wait for my rice to cook anyway. So
Anyway, okay, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Next thing that's
Casual,
going to
like.
come out that's scheduled, next thing that's going to come out that's scheduled is Link Between Worlds on June 1st, which is going to be fun. Then Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
If you're following along, it's then Breath of the Wild, then Tears of the Kingdom, then we're going to do multiplayer games, and then spin-offs. And then I don't know what we're going to do. That'll be the end of our podcast, so whatever. We'll see.
then we'll have to come up with
I
something
know.
new.
I guess I'll have to come up with another podcast. We're running out of media that we like, though. So I don't know what we're going to do. We'll figure it out. But anyway, that's the plan. So whatever there's like 4 months or something left of content. Exciting.
Yeah, it'd be
And
exciting.
then hundreds and hundreds of hours of Tears of the Kingdom content, no doubt. Yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you for Link Between Worlds. Hope everybody has a good summer playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, enjoy past us talking about Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, past us.
Yes.
We were so young then. We hadn't even played Tears of the Kingdom. We were like, wow, there's probably a discussion of us being like, oh, Tears of the Kingdom's coming out soon. But like, it'll be the past. I'm sure there is. Like, because we joke about that all the time. All right. We'll see you later. Good day. Good night.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Good Zelda.
Good Zelda.